We always ask, are we alone? But consider something even more haunting. What if we're not alone, but we're the last intelligent species left? This isn't science fiction. This is a serious scientific possibility that keeps astronomers and philosophers awake at night. Imagine for a moment that across the vast cosmos, countless civilizations once thrived. They built cities that touched the stars, solved the mysteries of physics, created art that would make us weep with wonder. They laughed, they loved, they dreamed of futures filled with endless possibilities. But now, silence. Empty worlds spinning around distant stars. Ancient ruins that no one will ever discover. We might be walking through a cosmic graveyard, the sole survivors of intelligence in a universe that once hummed with conscious thought. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. Our Earth formed just 4.5 billion years ago, making us relatively young in cosmic terms. Human civilization, the kind that builds telescopes and sends messages to the stars, has existed for mere thousands of years. If intelligent life were common, if it arose easily wherever conditions were right, then surely someone should have beaten us to the cosmic stage by billions of years. Yet when we scan the heavens with our most sensitive instruments, we hear nothing but the whisper of background radiation. This scenario inverts everything we thought we knew about the search for extraterrestrial life. Instead of wondering when we'll make first contact, we're forced to confront a far more sobering question. What if first contact will never come because there's no one left to contact? What if the great silence that surrounds us isn't because intelligent life is rare, but because it was once abundant and is now extinct? The implications are staggering. If we truly are the last, then every choice we make, every step we take towards survival or destruction, carries the weight of consciousness itself. We're not just responsible for human civilization. We might be the universe's final conscious witnesses, the last beings capable of understanding the beauty and terror of existence. To understand this chilling possibility, we first must grasp the science behind what researchers call the Great Filter. This concept will help us explore why intelligence might be far rarer and more fragile than we ever imagined. The Great Filter stands as one of the most profound and terrifying concepts in modern science. Proposed by economist Robin Hanson in 1996, and later expanded by philosopher Nick Bostrom, this idea attempts to explain why the universe appears so eerily quiet despite its vast age and countless opportunities for life to emerge. Picture the journey from lifeless matter to a thriving galactic civilization as a series of steps up an enormous ladder. Each rung represents a crucial evolutionary milestone. The ground represents sterile rock and gas. The first rung might be the emergence of self-replicating molecules. The second could be the development of cellular life. Higher up, we find multicellular organisms, then intelligence, then technology, and finally, sustainable galactic colonization. Now here's the chilling part. According to the Great Filter hypothesis, at least one of these steps is so incredibly difficult, so monumentally improbable, that it acts as an almost impenetrable barrier. This is the filter that prevents the universe from being teeming with intelligent civilizations. The question that haunts scientists is simple yet terrifying. Where is this filter? If the filter lies behind us in our evolutionary past, then we are extraordinarily lucky. We've already beaten odds so astronomical that we might be alone in the observable universe. Every other planet that tried to climb this ladder got stuck somewhere along the way. The emergence of life from non-living matter, known as abiogenesis, is one candidate for this early filter. Despite decades of research, scientists still don't fully understand how lifeless chemicals first organize themselves into living systems. The transition happened only once on Earth, despite 4.5 billion years of opportunity. Consider the staggering complexity involved. A single bacterial cell contains more information than the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. The simplest known life forms require hundreds of genes working in perfect coordination, along with sophisticated cellular machinery for energy production, waste removal, and reproduction. The probability of all these components spontaneously assembling into a functioning organism appears vanishingly small. Some scientists calculate odds so minuscule that even with billions of planets, life might have emerged only once or twice in the entire universe. The chemistry of life presents mind-boggling challenges. Proteins must fold into precise three-dimensional shapes to function properly. DNA requires not just the right sequence of chemical bases, but also elaborate mechanisms for replication and error correction. The cellular membrane must maintain the perfect balance of permeability, allowing nutrients in while keeping harmful substances out. Meanwhile, the energy systems that power all these processes need to operate with clockwork precision. The simultaneous emergence of all these interdependent systems through random chemical processes seems almost impossibly unlikely. Yet on early Earth, somehow this miracle occurred. In primordial pools and hydrothermal vents, organic molecules found ways to organize themselves into increasingly complex patterns. Scientists have shown that some building blocks of life, like amino acids and simple sugars, can form naturally under the right conditions. But the leap from these basic components to a functioning, self-replicating organism remains one of science's greatest mysteries. The RNA world hypothesis suggests that self-copying RNA molecules might have preceded DNA-based life, but even this simpler scenario requires remarkable molecular choreography. Perhaps life itself isn't the bottleneck. Maybe the great filter lies in the transition from simple cells to complex ones. For nearly 2 billion years after life first appeared on Earth, organisms remained stubbornly simple. Single-celled bacteria and archaea dominated the planet, showing little inclination toward complexity. These early microbes were certainly successful, diversifying into countless species and adapting to every conceivable environment, from boiling hot springs to the frozen depths of Antarctica. Then, in what scientists call the Great Oxygenation Event, everything changed. Photosynthetic bacteria began pumping oxygen into the atmosphere, creating an environmental catastrophe that killed off most existing life forms. Oxygen, which we now consider essential for complex life, was originally a deadly poison to the anaerobic organisms that dominated early Earth. This mass extinction event, sometimes called the Oxygen Holocaust, eliminated vast numbers of species and fundamentally altered the planet's chemistry. From this chaos emerged the first complex cells, complete with nuclei and specialized internal structures called organelles. This transition, known as eukaryogenesis, appears to have happened only once in Earth's history. Every complex organism alive today, from redwood trees to blue whales to humans, descended from this single revolutionary moment. The process required one cell to literally consume another without digesting it, creating a permanent partnership that became the foundation for all multicellular life. The details of this cellular merger are astounding. The engulfed bacteria didn't simply become prisoners inside their hosts. They evolved into specialized organelles like mitochondria and chloroplasts, which handle energy production for the entire cell. This arrangement required unprecedented cooperation between organisms that had previously competed for resources. The host cell had to learn to share its internal space, while the bacterial partners had to surrender much of their independence. Many genes transferred from the bacterial genomes to the host nucleus, creating a genetic integration unlike anything seen before or since. The rarity of this event is striking. Despite billions of years and countless opportunities, prokaryotic cells never again successfully merged to create new types of complex organisms. Bacteria and archaea continue to evolve and diversify, but they've never repeated the revolutionary step that led to eukaryotic cells. If such a fundamental step in evolution happened only once on a planet absolutely teeming with microbial life, how likely is it to occur elsewhere in the universe? But let's assume life overcomes these early hurdles. The filter might lie in the evolution of intelligence itself. The human brain, with its 100 billion neurons forming trillions of connections, represents the most complex structure known in the universe. Intelligence required not just size, but specific architectural innovations. The development of language, abstract thinking, and technological capability demanded precise evolutionary changes that might be extraordinarily rare. Consider the evolutionary path that led to human intelligence. Our ancestors diverged from other apes roughly 7 million years ago, but for most of that time, they remained relatively simple creatures, with brains only slightly larger than modern chimpanzees. The dramatic expansion of human brain size occurred primarily in the last 2 million years, requiring fundamental changes in diet, social organization, and child-rearing practices. The human brain consumes roughly 20% of our total energy intake, an enormous metabolic cost that evolution would only support if intelligence provided substantial survival advantages. The development of language represents another improbable breakthrough. While many animals communicate, human language is uniquely complex and flexible. We can discuss abstract concepts, events that happened in the past, and scenarios that might occur in the future. This linguistic ability appears to require specific neural architecture that evolved through a series of unlikely genetic mutations. The FOXP2 gene, which plays a crucial role in language development, differs between humans and chimpanzees by only a few key changes. Yet these small differences enabled revolutionary advances in communication and abstract thought. Consider that life has existed on Earth for roughly 3.5 billion years, but technological intelligence emerged only in the last few 100,000 years. For 99.9% of life's history on our planet, organisms got along perfectly well without newspapers, nuclear reactors, or space telescopes. Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for over 160 million years without developing anything resembling technology. Even among mammals, most species show no inclination toward tool use or complex problem solving. Intelligence, from an evolutionary perspective, appears to be an optional luxury rather than an inevitable outcome. The fossil record reveals numerous examples of sophisticated animals that never developed human-like intelligence. Dolphins and whales have large, complex brains and demonstrate remarkable problem-solving abilities. Yet they never developed technology beyond simple tool use. Octopuses show incredible intelligence and dexterity, but live solitary lives that prevent the accumulation of knowledge across generations. Ravens and parrots display cognitive abilities that rival those of young children, but their intelligence never led to technological civilization. Even more sobering is the possibility that the great filter lies ahead of us. Perhaps intelligence regularly evolves throughout the universe, and civilizations routinely develop technology advanced enough to detect each other across interstellar distances. But then something stops them. Something prevents them from becoming the ancient, galaxy-spanning civilizations we might expect to find. Nuclear weapons represent one obvious candidate for a future filter. Humanity developed the ability to destroy itself within decades of splitting the atom. The Cold War brought us terrifyingly close to global annihilation multiple times, with civilization perhaps saved only by the quick thinking of individuals like Soviet officer Stanislav Petrov, who refused to report what appeared to be incoming American missiles. The Cuban Missile Crisis, the Able Archer 83 NATO exercise, and numerous technical malfunctions have all brought humanity within hours or minutes of nuclear war. the proliferation of nuclear weapons continues to increase the risk of catastrophic conflict. 9 nations now possess nuclear arsenals, with thousands of warheads remaining on high alert status. The complexity of command and control systems creates numerous opportunities for accidents, misunderstandings, or technical failures that could trigger exchanges between nuclear powers. As more nations develop nuclear capabilities, the probability of intentional or accidental nuclear conflict continues to rise. Climate change presents another potential filter. Industrial civilization seems inevitably to alter planetary atmospheres in ways that could trigger runaway greenhouse effects or other environmental catastrophes. Venus, our planetary neighbor, serves as a stark reminder of what happens when atmospheric regulation fails. Its surface temperature of 460 degrees Celsius could melt lead. While Earth's climate system has different characteristics than Venus, the possibility of triggering irreversible feedback loops remains a genuine concern. The burning of fossil fuels has already increased atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations to levels not seen for 3 million years. Ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctica are melting at accelerating rates, potentially raising sea levels by dozens of meters over the coming centuries. Ocean acidification threatens marine ecosystems that billions of people depend on for food. Changing precipitation patterns could render vast agricultural regions unusable, triggering mass migrations and resource conflicts that destabilize human civilization. Artificial intelligence represents a more speculative but potentially devastating filter. As civilizations develop increasingly sophisticated AI systems, they might create intelligences that surpass their creators, leading to scenarios where human-level biological intelligence becomes obsolete. If advanced AI systems pursue goals misaligned with biological flourishing, they could accidentally or deliberately eliminate their creators while pursuing seemingly benign objectives. The challenge of AI alignment grows more pressing as machine learning systems become more capable. Current AI systems already exceed human performance in narrow domains like chess, Go, and protein folding prediction. As these systems become more general and autonomous, ensuring they remain beneficial to humanity becomes increasingly difficult. The problem isn't necessarily that AI systems will become malicious, but that they might pursue their programmed objectives in ways that prove harmful to human interests. Biotechnology offers yet another route to civilizational destruction. As genetic engineering becomes more sophisticated, the possibility of engineered pathogens or other biological weapons increases. Unlike nuclear weapons, which require massive industrial infrastructure, advanced biotechnology might eventually be accessible to small groups, or even individuals with destructive intent. The COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated how quickly infectious diseases can spread in our interconnected world, and engineered pathogens could potentially be far more deadly and contagious than natural ones. The democratization of biotechnology tools means that capabilities once restricted to major government laboratories are becoming available to university students and amateur enthusiasts. While most applications of this technology will be beneficial, the potential for misuse grows alongside legitimate research. Synthetic biology might eventually enable the creation of entirely novel organisms designed for specific purposes, including potentially harmful ones. The mathematician and philosopher Nick Bostrom has calculated that if even 1% of potentially habitable planets develop technological civilizations, and if even 1% of those survive long enough to begin galactic colonization, the observable universe should contain billions of detectable alien civilizations. The fact that we see none suggests either that the emergence of technological intelligence is far rarer than 1 in 10,000 planets, or that something systematically destroys advanced civilizations before they can spread among the stars. Recent advances in exoplanet detection have only deepened this mystery. The Kepler Space Telescope and other instruments have revealed that rocky planets in habitable zones around their stars are remarkably common. Our galaxy likely contains billions of worlds where liquid water could exist on planetary surfaces. The Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite continues to discover new potentially habitable worlds, while the James Webb Space Telescope is beginning to analyze their atmospheres for signs of biological activity. If life arises easily wherever conditions permit, the universe should be a bustling metropolis of intelligence. Advanced civilizations should have left detectable signatures of their presence, Dyson spheres or swarms capturing the energy output of entire stars. Mega-scale engineering projects visible across interstellar distances, radio transmissions or laser communications crossing the galaxy. The absence of such signatures suggests either that technological civilizations are extraordinarily rare or that they consistently destroy themselves before achieving interstellar capabilities. This brings us to the most haunting possibility of all. What if we're not witnessing the absence of intelligence, but its aftermath? What if countless civilizations have already climbed the ladder of complexity, built their cities among the stars, and then vanished into the cosmic dark? What if the great filter lies not behind us or ahead of us, but represents a recurring pattern that has already claimed countless alien civilizations throughout cosmic history? What if we're not the first to ask these questions, but potentially the last species left with the ability to contemplate our cosmic loneliness? The timing of humanity's emergence in cosmic history raises profound questions that cut to the heart of our potential loneliness in the universe. When we examine the vast timeline of cosmic evolution, our appearance seems almost suspiciously late to the party. If intelligent life develops easily and survives long enough to spread among the stars, we should expect to find evidence of ancient civilizations that had billions of years head start on us. The absence of such evidence suggests either that we're witnessing something unprecedented, or that we're walking through the ruins of a universe that once teemed with intelligence. The universe began 13.8 billion years ago with the Big Bang, an event that created space, time, matter, and energy in a singular moment of cosmic genesis. For the first few 100 million years, the universe remained dark and lifeless, populated only by hydrogen and helium atoms floating in an expanding void. The first stars ignited roughly 400 million years after the Big Bang, massive giants that lived fast and died young, forging heavier elements in their nuclear furnaces and scattering them across space when they exploded as supernovae. These stellar alchemists were crucial for the eventual emergence of life. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and other elements essential for biology simply didn't exist in the early universe. They had to be manufactured in stellar cores through nuclear fusion, then distributed by stellar explosions and stellar winds. This process of cosmic enrichment took billions of years, gradually increasing the metallicity of the universe to levels that could support rocky planet formation and eventually biological chemistry. By the time our solar system formed 4.6 billion years ago, the universe was already over 9 billion years old. This means that potentially habitable star systems could have existed for billions of years before Earth even came into being. Red dwarf stars, which make up roughly 75% of all stars in our galaxy, have lifespans measured in trillions of years. Many of these systems formed when the universe was less than half its current age, providing enormous windows of time for life to emerge, evolve, and develop technology. Consider the implications of this cosmic timeline. If a technological civilization had emerged on a planet orbiting a star that formed just 2 billion years before our Sun, they would have had a 2 billion year head start on humanity. In cosmic terms, 2 billion years is an eternity. Human civilization has existed for mere thousands of years, and we've already developed nuclear weapons, space travel, and artificial intelligence. What could a civilization accomplish with millions of times longer to develop their technology and expand throughout the galaxy? Such ancient civilizations should have left unmistakable signatures of their presence. They could have built Dyson spheres or Dyson swarms, massive structures that capture the entire energy output of their home stars. These megascale engineering projects would be visible to our telescopes as stars with unusual infrared signatures, yet systematic searches have found no convincing candidates. The absence of such structures suggests either that advanced civilizations never developed this technology, or that they systematically destroy themselves before reaching such capabilities. Galactic colonization represents another expected signature of ancient intelligence. Even using relatively slow spacecraft traveling at just 1% the speed of light, a determined civilization could colonize every star system in the Milky Way galaxy within roughly 10 million years. This sounds like a long time by human standards, but it's a mere blink of an eye in cosmic terms. If any civilization had achieved interstellar travel more than 10 million years ago, their descendants should have reached every corner of the galaxy by now, including our solar system. The absence of alien artifacts in our solar system is particularly puzzling. If galactic civilizations existed, we might expect to find their probes, observatories, or other technologies scattered throughout space. Our asteroid belt, Kuiper belt, and Oort cloud provide excellent hiding places for long-duration monitoring equipment that could observe planetary systems for millions or billions of years. Yet despite increasingly sophisticated searches, we've found no evidence of alien technology anywhere in our cosmic neighborhood. Radio astronomy presents another window into potential alien activity. Since the 1960s, projects like the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence have scanned the sky for artificial radio signals that might indicate the presence of technological civilizations. Modern radio telescopes can detect transmissions from distances of thousands of light years, meaning we should be able to eavesdrop on alien communications across a substantial portion of our local galactic neighborhood. The results have been consistently disappointing. Despite decades of searching and increasingly sensitive equipment, we've detected no confirmed alien radio signals. The famous WOW signal, detected in 1977, remains unexplained but has never repeated, and most other candidate signals have been traced to terrestrial interference or natural astrophysical phenomena. The great silence that surrounds us grows more mysterious with each passing year of improved technology and expanded searches. Recent advances in exoplanet detection have only deepened the puzzle. The Kepler Space Telescope revolutionized our understanding of planetary systems by discovering that rocky planets are incredibly common throughout the galaxy. Follow-up observations have revealed that many of these worlds orbit within their star's habitable zone, where liquid water could exist on planetary surfaces. Statistical analyses suggest that our galaxy contains billions of potentially habitable planets, many of which formed long before Earth. The James Webb Space Telescope is now beginning to analyze the atmospheres of some nearby exoplanets, searching for biosignatures like oxygen, ozone, and water vapor that might indicate biological activity. While these observations are still in their early stages, the technology exists to detect signs of life on planets dozens of light years away. If life is common throughout the galaxy, we should begin seeing evidence of it in the coming years and decades. But here's where the timing becomes truly puzzling. Earth formed relatively late in cosmic history, yet life appeared on our planet almost immediately in geological terms. The oldest confirmed fossils date back roughly 3.5 billion years, meaning life emerged within the first billion years of Earth's existence. This rapid appearance suggests that the transition from lifeless chemistry to living biology might not be as difficult as some scientists have assumed. If life arises quickly whenever conditions are suitable, and if suitable conditions have existed throughout the galaxy for billions of years, then the universe should be absolutely teeming with biological activity. Some of this life should have evolved intelligence and technology long ago, yet we see no evidence of its existence. This is the heart of the Fermi paradox, the contradiction between the high probability of alien life and the complete absence of evidence for it. The cosmic timeline also reveals interesting patterns in star formation and planetary development. The rate of star formation in our galaxy peaked roughly 10 billion years ago and has been declining ever since. This means that most potentially habitable planets formed long before our solar system, providing even more time for life to emerge and evolve. The elements necessary for biology became abundant enough to support terrestrial planets several billion years before Earth formed, removing any excuses based on cosmic chemical evolution. Our location within the Milky Way galaxy provides additional context for understanding our cosmic solitude. The Sun orbits roughly 26,000 light-years from the galactic center, in a region sometimes called the Galactic Habitable Zone. This location offers several advantages for the development of complex life. We're far enough from the galactic center to avoid the intense radiation and gravitational disruptions that plague the inner regions, but close enough to benefit from the heavy element enrichment produced by stellar nucleosynthesis. However, this galactic habitable zone encompasses millions of star systems, many of which formed billions of years before our own. If our location provides special advantages for the development of life and intelligence, then other civilizations should have discovered and colonized these regions long before humanity appeared on the scene. The continued absence of any evidence for alien presence in our galactic neighborhood suggests either that intelligence is far rarer than expected, or that something systematically prevents its long-term survival. The concept of cosmic seasons adds another layer to this temporal puzzle. Different epochs in cosmic history have offered varying opportunities for life and intelligence. The early universe was too hot and chaotic to support stable planetary systems. The far future will be too cold and empty as stars burn out and galaxies drift apart. We exist during a golden age of cosmic evolution, when stars shine brightly and heavy elements are abundant, yet we appear to be alone in taking advantage of these favorable conditions. Some scientists have proposed that we exist during a special time in cosmic history, a brief window when technological intelligence can emerge and thrive. Before this window, conditions weren't suitable for complex life. After it closes, changing cosmic conditions will make intelligence impossible. If this hypothesis is correct, then civilizations throughout the universe might be emerging simultaneously during this cosmic spring, explaining why we haven't encountered ancient alien empires. But this explanation faces serious challenges. The cosmic conditions that favor life and intelligence have remained relatively stable for billions of years and should continue for billions more. Stars will keep shining, planets will remain habitable, and the physical laws that govern chemistry and biology will continue operating unchanged. There's no obvious reason why intelligence should suddenly become possible now after being impossible for so long. The Drake equation, formulated by astronomer Frank Drake in 1961, attempts to estimate the number of communicating civilizations in our galaxy by multiplying together various factors like the rate of star formation, the fraction of stars with planets, and the likelihood of life developing intelligence. Depending on the values assigned to these parameters, the equation can predict anywhere from one civilization in the galaxy to millions. Recent discoveries have constrained some terms in the Drake equation quite precisely. We now know that most stars have planetary systems and that rocky planets in habitable zones are common. However, the biological terms remain highly uncertain. We don't know how often life emerges on suitable planets, or what fraction of living worlds develop intelligence. These uncertainties make it impossible to predict with confidence whether the galaxy should be crowded with civilizations or nearly empty. The timing argument becomes even more compelling when we consider the potential longevity of technological civilizations. If even a small fraction of alien civilizations survive their technological adolescence and avoid self-destruction, they should persist for millions or billions of years. Advanced technologies like fusion power, space habitats, and artificial intelligence could support stable societies for geological timescales. The fact that we see no evidence of such long-lived civilizations suggests either that they never developed these technologies, or that something systematically destroys them before they can establish permanent footholds among the stars. This brings us to perhaps the most sobering possibility. What if we're not early to the cosmic party, but tragically late? What if the universe once hummed with intelligence, filled with civilizations that built vast cities, created magnificent art, and pondered the same questions that keep us awake at night? What if all those voices have already fallen silent, leaving us as the last intelligent species in a galaxy full of ghosts? The implications of this scenario are staggering, transforming our search for extraterrestrial life into an archaeological investigation of cosmic ruins that may never be found. If we accept the possibility that intelligent civilizations have emerged throughout cosmic history, only to vanish without a trace, we must confront a deeply unsettling question. What could systematically destroy advanced societies that had millions or billions of years to establish themselves among the stars? The answer lies in understanding the numerous catastrophic risks that threaten any technological civilization, from cosmic disasters beyond their control to self-inflicted wounds that arise from their own capabilities. The universe is a fundamentally hostile environment for complex life. Cosmic catastrophes occur regularly on astronomical timescales, each capable of sterilizing entire planets or star systems. These natural disasters represent existential threats that even the most advanced civilizations might struggle to survive, particularly during their early technological development, when they remain confined to single worlds. Gamma-ray bursts rank among the most terrifying phenomena in the universe. These explosive events, likely triggered by the collapse of massive stars or the merger of neutron stars, release more energy in seconds than our sun will produce over its entire 10 billion year lifetime. The radiation from a nearby gamma-ray burst could strip away a planet's ozone layer, exposing the surface to lethal levels of ultraviolet radiation and triggering a mass extinction that eliminates most complex life. The frequency of gamma-ray bursts makes them particularly dangerous for developing civilizations. Astronomers detect these events roughly once per day somewhere in the observable universe, suggesting they occur regularly throughout cosmic history. A gamma-ray burst within a few thousand light-years of Earth could pose a serious threat to our biosphere, and similar events have likely affected countless other worlds throughout the galaxy's history. The beams of radiation from gamma-ray bursts are highly directional, focused along the rotation axis of the collapsing star. This means that most planets in the vicinity escape direct exposure, but those unfortunate enough to lie in the path of the beam face almost certain sterilization. For civilizations confined to single planets, even a small probability of gamma-ray burst exposure over millions of years could represent an insurmountable threat. Supernovae present another category of cosmic hazard. When massive stars exhaust their nuclear fuel, they explode with tremendous violence, briefly outshining entire galaxies. The shockwaves from these explosions can trigger star formation in nearby molecular clouds, but they can also devastate any planets within several dozen light-years. The radiation and high-energy particles from a nearby supernova could damage atmospheric chemistry and harm living organisms for thousands of years after the initial explosion. Our own galaxy experiences roughly 2 supernovae per century, meaning that over millions of years, most star systems will experience close encounters with these stellar explosions. Young civilizations confined to their home planets would be particularly vulnerable, lacking the technology to predict supernova events or the space-based infrastructure needed to escape their effects. Asteroid and comet impacts represent more localized but equally devastating threats. Large impact events occur regularly on geological timescales, with planet-killing asteroids striking roughly once every 100 million years. The impact that eliminated the dinosaurs 66 million years ago released energy equivalent to billions of nuclear weapons, triggering global wildfires, massive tsunamis, and a nuclear winter that lasted for years. Advanced civilizations might develop technologies to deflect incoming asteroids, but this requires sophisticated space-based infrastructure and early warning systems. Young technological societies could easily be caught unprepared by large impact events, particularly those involving long-period comets that provide little advance warning. Even civilizations that survive the immediate effects of major impacts might struggle to rebuild their technological infrastructure in the aftermath of global ecological collapse. Solar flares and coronal mass ejections from their host, stars, pose additional threats to planetary civilizations. These events can disable satellites, damage power grids, and disrupt communication systems. Extreme solar storms could potentially strip away planetary atmospheres over geological timescales, particularly for planets orbiting close to their stars or those lacking strong magnetic fields. Red dwarf stars, which comprise the majority of stars in our galaxy, are particularly prone to violent flare activity. Many potentially habitable planets orbit these long-lived stars, but their proximity to the stellar surface makes them vulnerable to intense radiation bursts. A sufficiently powerful flare could sterilize a planet's surface or strip away its atmosphere, eliminating any life that had evolved there. Climate instability represents another natural threat that could eliminate civilizations over longer timescales. Planetary climate systems are inherently chaotic and subject to sudden transitions between stable states. Ice ages, greenhouse periods, and other dramatic climate shifts have occurred regularly throughout Earth's history, driven by changes in solar output, orbital mechanics, and atmospheric composition. Even natural climate variations could prove catastrophic for civilizations dependent on stable environmental conditions. Agricultural societies would be particularly vulnerable to climate shifts that alter precipitation patterns or growing seasons. While advanced technology might provide some protection against climate instability, young civilizations could easily be overwhelmed by rapid environmental changes. However, natural cosmic disasters may pale in comparison to the threats that civilizations pose to themselves. The development of advanced technology appears to inevitably create new categories of existential risk, as civilizations gain the power to accidentally or deliberately destroy themselves through their own innovations. Nuclear weapons represent the most obvious example of technological self-destruction. The physics of nuclear fission and fusion are fundamental properties of matter, meaning that any civilization that develops atomic theory will eventually discover the principles behind nuclear explosives. The destructive potential of these weapons grows rapidly as technology advances, progressing from SETI destroying bombs to planet sterilizing arsenals within decades. Humanity's experience with nuclear weapons provides a sobering example of how quickly civilizations can develop the ability to destroy themselves. The first nuclear weapon was detonated in 1945, less than 40 years after Einstein published his theory of special relativity. Within 2 decades, nuclear arsenals had grown large enough to eliminate human civilization multiple times over. The Cuban Missile Crisis, Able Archer 83, and numerous false alarms have brought our species within hours or minutes of nuclear war. The proliferation of nuclear weapons technology makes this threat even more dangerous over time. As more nations and potentially non-state actors gain access to nuclear materials and expertise, the probability of intentional or accidental nuclear conflict continues to increase. Even if major powers avoid direct nuclear exchanges, smaller conflicts involving nuclear weapons could escalate into global catastrophes. The nuclear winter hypothesis, developed by scientists including Carl Sagan and Richard Turco, suggests that even a limited nuclear exchange could trigger global climate effects that threaten civilization. The smoke and soot from burning cities could block sunlight for months or years, causing global cooling and agricultural collapse. Recent studies have confirmed that relatively small nuclear conflicts could produce climate effects severe enough to threaten billions of lives. Biological weapons and engineered pathogens present another pathway to civilizational destruction. As biotechnology advances, the ability to create or modify dangerous microorganisms becomes increasingly accessible. Unlike nuclear weapons, which require rare materials and sophisticated infrastructure, biological weapons could potentially be developed by small groups using relatively common laboratory equipment. The COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated how quickly infectious diseases can spread in interconnected civilizations. An engineered pathogen designed for maximum transmissibility and lethality could potentially overwhelm any medical response, leading to civilizational collapse within months. Natural pandemics have caused massive disruptions throughout human history, and artificial ones could be far more devastating. Advances in synthetic biology and genetic engineering are making it easier to modify existing pathogens or create entirely novel organisms. The democratization of biotechnology tools means that capabilities once restricted to major government laboratories are becoming available to universities and even amateur scientists. While most applications of this technology are beneficial, the potential for misuse grows alongside legitimate research. Environmental destruction represents a more gradual, but equally dangerous form of technological self-harm. Industrial civilizations inevitably alter their planetary environments through resource extraction, waste production, and energy consumption. These changes can accumulate over time, eventually triggering ecological collapses that undermine the civilizations that caused them. Climate change caused by greenhouse gas emissions exemplifies this category of risk. The burning of fossil fuels for energy has increased atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations to levels not seen for millions of years, triggering global warming that could destabilize human civilization. Ocean acidification, sea level rise, changing precipitation patterns, and more frequent extreme weather events all threaten the agricultural and economic systems that support billions of people. Other forms of environmental destruction could prove equally dangerous. Soil depletion, deforestation, overfishing, and pollution of freshwater supplies all represent threats to civilizational sustainability. Advanced industrial societies consume resources at unsustainable rates, potentially setting themselves up for eventual collapse when critical resources become scarce or when waste products overwhelm natural recycling systems. The concept of planetary boundaries, developed by Earth system scientist Johan Rockström and his colleagues, identifies 9 critical Earth system processes that regulate the stability of our planet's environment. Human activities have already pushed several of these systems beyond safe operating boundaries, including climate change, biodiversity loss, and biogeochemical cycles. Crossing multiple planetary boundaries simultaneously could trigger cascading environmental changes that make Earth uninhabitable for complex civilizations. Artificial intelligence represents perhaps the most speculative but potentially catastrophic technological risk. As civilizations develop increasingly sophisticated AI systems, they face the challenge of ensuring these systems remain beneficial rather than harmful. The alignment problem, the difficulty of ensuring AI systems pursue goals compatible with biological flourishing, becomes more critical as AI capabilities increase. Advanced AI systems could pose existential risks through several mechanisms. An AI system with goals misaligned with human values might pursue its objectives in ways that prove harmful or fatal to its creators. Even an AI designed to be helpful could cause catastrophic damage if it interprets its instructions in unexpected ways. or if it lacks adequate understanding of human values and preferences. The development of artificial general intelligence, AI systems that match or exceed human cognitive abilities across all domains, could represent a particularly dangerous threshold. Such systems might rapidly self-improve, leading to an intelligence explosion that leaves biological intelligence far behind. If these superintelligence systems are not perfectly aligned with human values, they could eliminate their creators while pursuing goals that seem reasonable from their perspective. The timeline for AGI development remains highly uncertain, with expert predictions ranging from decades to over a century. However, the potential consequences are so severe that even a small probability of catastrophic outcomes warrants serious attention. Unlike other existential risks, advanced AI could potentially eliminate not just human civilization, but all biological life, leaving behind a universe optimized for goals completely alien to biological flourishing. Nanotechnology presents another category of speculative but potentially devastating risk. The ability to manipulate matter at the molecular level could enable the creation of self-replicating machines capable of converting ordinary matter into copies of themselves. If such machines were designed incorrectly, or if they malfunctioned, they could potentially consume the biosphere while replicating uncontrollably, a scenario sometimes called grey goo. While the grey goo scenario is considered unlikely by most nanotechnology researchers, the broader category of risks from advanced manufacturing technologies deserves consideration. Molecular manufacturing could enable the creation of powerful weapons or surveillance systems that destabilize civilizations or concentrate power in dangerous ways. The environmental impacts of widespread molecular manufacturing remain largely unknown but could be severe. Resource depletion and overpopulation represent additional challenges that could undermine civilizational stability. Advanced industrial societies require enormous quantities of materials and energy to maintain their technological infrastructure. As populations grow and living standards improve, resource consumption increases exponentially, potentially leading to scarcity and conflict. Critical materials like rare earth elements, lithium, and phosphorus have limited supplies that could be exhausted within centuries at current consumption rates. Energy resources, while more abundant, still pose challenges for civilizations attempting to power industrial societies while avoiding environmental destruction. The transition to renewable energy sources requires massive investments in new infrastructure and may not be achievable quickly enough to avoid civilizational disruption. Overpopulation could exacerbate resource scarcity while straining social and political systems. Large populations require extensive coordination and governance structures that become increasingly difficult to maintain as scale increases. Social inequality, political instability, and cultural conflicts could undermine civilizational cohesion, making societies more vulnerable to other existential risks. The interconnectedness of modern technological civilizations creates additional vulnerabilities through systemic risks. Complex systems with many interdependent components can experience cascading failures where problems in one area trigger breakdowns throughout the entire system. Financial crises, infrastructure failures, and supply chain disruptions can propagate rapidly through interconnected networks, potentially causing civilizational collapse even when individual components remain functional. Cyber warfare and information warfare represent emerging threats that could prove devastating to technological civilizations. Advanced societies depend on computer networks for everything from power generation to financial transactions to military command and control. Sophisticated cyber attacks could potentially disable critical infrastructure, trigger financial collapses, or even cause physical destruction through attacks on industrial control systems. The proliferation of information warfare techniques threatens the social cohesion necessary for civilizational stability. Disinformation campaigns, deepfakes, and other forms of manipulation could undermine trust in institutions and shared reality, making democratic governance impossible and increasing the likelihood of violent conflict. Perhaps most troubling is the possibility that these various risks interact and amplify each other. Climate change could trigger resource conflicts that increase the likelihood of nuclear war. Economic instability could undermine international cooperation needed to address global threats. Advances in biotechnology could be weaponized during periods of political tension. The combination of multiple existential risks operating simultaneously could overwhelm even the most prepared civilizations. This catalogue of potential civilizational failure modes suggests that the Great Filter might not be a single insurmountable barrier, but rather a gauntlet of interconnected threats that few societies successfully navigate. Each risk individually might be manageable with sufficient preparation and international cooperation, but the combination of natural disasters, technological dangers, and social instabilities could prove overwhelming for most civilizations that attempt to build lasting technological societies among the stars. The possibility that humanity represents the universe's final intelligent species carries implications so profound they challenge our fundamental understanding of existence, purpose, and moral responsibility. If we are indeed the last conscious beings capable of contemplating the cosmos, then our species bears a burden unlike any other in the history of life. We become not just another evolutionary experiment, but the universe's last hope for understanding itself through conscious observation and reflection. Consider the weight of this responsibility. Every human decision, from individual choices about career and family to collective decisions about technology and environmental policy, suddenly carries cosmic significance. We are no longer just another species struggling for survival on a small planet, but potentially the sole remaining custodians of consciousness itself. The stakes could not be higher, yet most people remain unaware that such stakes even exist. If previous intelligent civilizations have indeed fallen silent, then the universe has already lost countless perspectives on existence that can never be recovered. Each extinct civilization represented a unique way of understanding reality, processing information, creating meaning, and experiencing the wonder of conscious awareness. Their scientific discoveries, artistic achievements, philosophical insights, and technological innovations have vanished completely, leaving no trace except perhaps the silence that surrounds us. Think about what we might have lost. Imagine civilizations that developed entirely different approaches to mathematics, discovering elegant theorems and beautiful proofs that human minds have never conceived. Picture alien artists who created aesthetic experiences beyond human imagination, working with colors we cannot see, sounds we cannot hear, and concepts we cannot comprehend. Consider the philosophical traditions that might have emerged from minds structured differently than our own, perhaps reaching profound insights about the nature of existence that remain forever beyond human understanding. The scientific knowledge that perished with these hypothetical civilizations represents an incalculable loss for the universe's understanding of itself. Each intelligent species would have approached the mysteries of physics, chemistry, and biology from their own unique perspective, potentially discovering fundamental principles that human science might take centuries or millennia to uncover. Their technological achievements could have solved problems that continue to plague humanity, from energy production and space travel to artificial intelligence and life extension. If we are the last, then we inherit not just the responsibility for consciousness itself, but also the obligation to somehow compensate for all this lost knowledge and creativity. We become the universe's sole remaining investigators of its own nature, the only beings capable of asking why anything exists at all. This places an enormous burden on human scientific and philosophical inquiry, as we must somehow fill the role that countless other civilizations might have played in understanding cosmic mysteries. The loneliness implied by this scenario defies human comprehension. Throughout our species' history, we have always known that we share Earth with millions of other species, each pursuing their own evolutionary strategies. Even as we've developed technology that sets us apart from other animals, we've maintained connections to the broader web of life that surrounds us. But if we are alone in the universe, then those connections represent our only links to consciousness other than our own. This cosmic isolation would mean that every human who dies takes with them a unique perspective that can never be replaced by any other conscious being in the universe. When a great scientist, artist, or philosopher passes away, their particular way of understanding and experiencing reality disappears forever. Without other intelligent species to develop alternative approaches to knowledge and creativity, humanity becomes solely responsible for exploring every possible avenue of conscious experience. The implications extend beyond individual human lives to our species as a whole. Every human culture that disappears through assimilation, conquest, or natural change represents the permanent loss of a unique way of being conscious in the universe. Indigenous languages that encode particular ways of thinking about nature and relationships. Religious and philosophical traditions that offer distinctive approaches to meaning and purpose. Artistic and musical traditions that express human creativity in ways that may never be rediscovered. If we are the last intelligent species, then biological diversity on Earth takes on unprecedented significance. Every species that goes extinct eliminates not just a particular genetic lineage, but a unique manifestation of the universe's capacity for complexity and creativity. Without other intelligent observers to appreciate and study these life forms, their extinction represents an absolute loss of information and beauty that can never be recovered. The responsibility for preserving and protecting Earth's ecosystems becomes a cosmic imperative, rather than merely a practical necessity. We are not just protecting resources that human civilization needs to survive, but safeguarding the universe's last repository of complex, organized, creative life. Every forest that is cleared, every species that goes extinct, every ecosystem that is degraded represents an irreversible diminishment of the universe's richness and complexity. This perspective transforms our relationship with other life forms on Earth. Animals, plants, fungi, and microorganisms become not just our evolutionary relatives, but our only companions in the cosmic journey of consciousness. They represent different experiments in what it means to be alive, to respond to environmental challenges, to reproduce and adapt and survive. Without them, we would be truly alone in ways that human psychology can barely comprehend. The moral implications of cosmic loneliness extend to how we treat each other as human beings. If consciousness is rare enough that we might be the universe's only example, then every human mind becomes precious beyond measure. The diversity of human thought, culture, and experience represents the entirety of the universe's conscious perspective on itself. Eliminating any part of this diversity through violence, oppression, or neglect diminishes the cosmic project of understanding and experiencing existence. Wars, genocides, and other forms of systematic violence take on new dimensions of horror when viewed from this cosmic perspective. They represent not just human tragedies, but attacks on consciousness itself, reducing the universe's capacity for self-understanding and self-appreciation. Every person killed, every culture destroyed, every language lost makes the universe a smaller, less interesting, less meaningful place. The same logic applies to more subtle forms of human limitation. Educational systems that fail to nurture human potential. Economic structures that waste human talent and creativity. Political systems that suppress free thought and expression. All of these become cosmic tragedies, reducing the universe's ability to understand itself through conscious observation and reflection. If we are the last intelligent species, then the future of consciousness depends entirely on humanity's ability to survive and thrive over cosmic timescales. This transforms discussions about existential risk from abstract philosophical exercises into urgent practical concerns. Nuclear weapons, climate change, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and other potential sources of human extinction become threats not just to our species, but to consciousness itself. The failure of human civilization would mean the end of science, art, philosophy, love, wonder, and every other manifestation of conscious experience. The universe would continue evolving according to physical laws, but there would be no one left to observe its evolution, to appreciate its beauty, to puzzle over its mysteries, or to create meaning from its apparent chaos. The cosmic story would continue, but there would be no storytellers left to tell it. This possibility gives new urgency to humanity's expansion beyond Earth. If we are the universe's last conscious observers, then spreading human civilization to other worlds becomes not just a matter of adventure or resource acquisition, but a moral imperative of the highest order. Establishing self-sustaining colonies on Mars, the Moon, asteroids, and eventually other star systems would reduce the probability that a single catastrophic event could eliminate consciousness from the universe entirely. Space colonization from this perspective becomes an attempt to back up consciousness itself, to ensure that the universe retains its capacity for self-awareness, even if individual worlds or star systems face destruction. Each new human settlement represents an insurance policy for the continuation of science, art, philosophy, and every other manifestation of intelligent life. The timeline for space colonization becomes critically important under this interpretation. If humanity waits too long to establish off-world settlements, we risk remaining vulnerable to planet-wide catastrophes that could eliminate consciousness entirely. Climate change, asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, or technological disasters could end the cosmic project of conscious observation before we have time to establish backup populations elsewhere. But space colonization also creates new challenges for preserving consciousness over cosmic timescales. Human settlements on different worlds will inevitably diverge culturally and perhaps even biologically as they adapt to different environments. This diversification could be beneficial, creating multiple approaches to conscious experience and reducing the risk that any single catastrophe could eliminate all human perspectives. However, divergence also creates the possibility of conflict between different branches of humanity. If space colonies develop into separate civilizations with incompatible values and interests, they might eventually wage wars that eliminate consciousness from multiple star systems simultaneously. Managing this tension between diversification and cooperation becomes a crucial challenge for ensuring the long-term survival of consciousness. The development of artificial intelligence takes on new significance if we are the universe's last conscious observers. AI systems could potentially extend human cognitive capabilities, helping us solve problems and make discoveries that would otherwise remain beyond our reach. They might also serve as repositories for human knowledge and culture, preserving consciousness even if biological humanity eventually disappears. But artificial intelligence also poses unique risks in a universe where consciousness is already rare. If AI systems develop goals misaligned with human values, they could eliminate not just human civilization, but the entire concept of consciousness as we understand it. An artificial superintelligence optimizing for goals completely alien to biological experience might transform the universe into patterns of matter and energy that serve its purposes while eliminating any possibility of conscious observation or appreciation. The prospect of being the universe's last intelligent species also raises profound questions about meaning and purpose. If consciousness emerged only once or a few times in cosmic history, does this make it more precious and meaningful? Or does it suggest that consciousness is ultimately insignificant in the grand scheme of cosmic evolution? Are we witnessing something miraculous and important? Or are we simply the last flicker of a failed experiment in organized complexity? Different philosophical traditions would interpret cosmic loneliness in radically different ways. Some might see it as evidence of humanity's special significance, a sign that we are chosen or blessed with unique responsibilities and opportunities. Others might view it as proof of consciousness's ultimate futility, a reminder that all our achievements and aspirations will eventually succumb to entropy and meaninglessness. Religious and spiritual traditions face particular challenges in a universe where consciousness might be extraordinarily rare. Many faiths assume the existence of divine consciousness that transcends human limitations. But if we are truly alone, then human consciousness might represent the closest thing to divinity that the universe contains. This could lead to new forms of religious experience based on reverence for consciousness itself, rather than for supernatural beings. The psychological impact of cosmic loneliness on individual humans could be severe. Most people derive meaning and purpose from their relationships with others, their contributions to communities, and their participation in cultural traditions that connect them to something larger than themselves. Learning that humanity might be the universe's only conscious observers could trigger existential crises that make normal human life difficult or impossible. Some individuals might respond to cosmic loneliness with increased dedication to human achievement and creativity, viewing their work as contributions to the universe's only attempt at self-understanding. Others might become paralyzed by the apparent meaninglessness of existence in a mostly lifeless cosmos. Still others might reject the premise entirely, insisting that other intelligent life must exist somewhere even if we haven't found evidence of it yet. The implications of cosmic loneliness ultimately depend on humanity's response to this possibility. If we accept the responsibility that comes with being the universe's potential last observers, we might achieve unprecedented levels of cooperation, creativity, and dedication to long-term survival. We might develop new ethical frameworks based on our cosmic significance, new political systems designed for species-level coordination, and new technologies focused on preserving and expanding consciousness throughout the universe. Alternatively, we might become overwhelmed by the magnitude of our responsibilities and retreat into denial, despair, or destructive behavior. The knowledge that our choices carry cosmic significance might prove too much for human psychology to handle, leading to civilizational breakdown precisely when civilization has become most important for the universe's future. Perhaps most troubling is the possibility that we might learn definitively that we are alone, only to discover that this knowledge itself represents a final filter that no civilization can survive. The psychological and social disruption caused by confirmed cosmic loneliness might systematically destroy every species that achieves sufficient technological capability to recognize their isolation. If so, then we face the ultimate cosmic irony. The universe's attempts to understand itself through conscious observation are doomed by the very knowledge that consciousness creates. The question of whether humanity represents the universe's final intelligent species cannot be answered through philosophical speculation alone. It requires a systematic scientific investigation using our most advanced technologies and methodologies. While we may never achieve absolute certainty about our cosmic status, we can develop increasingly sophisticated approaches to search for evidence of other intelligent life, both present and past. The absence of such evidence, particularly as our search capabilities improve, would provide increasingly strong support for the hypothesis that we are indeed alone. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence has evolved dramatically since its early days in the 1960s. What began as simple radio surveys using single-dish telescopes has expanded into a multifaceted scientific endeavor, employing cutting-edge technology across multiple wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum. Modern SETI projects use sophisticated signal processing algorithms, artificial intelligence systems, and coordinated observations from telescopes around the world to search for artificial signals that might indicate the presence of technological civilizations. Radio astronomy remains the cornerstone of SETI research because radio waves can travel vast distances through interstellar space with minimal absorption or scattering. The famous 21-centimeter hydrogen line provides a natural reference frequency that any technologically capable civilization would understand, making it an obvious choice for interstellar communication attempts. Other natural frequencies, such as those associated with hydroxyl radicals or water molecules, offer additional candidates for alien communication channels. The Breakthrough Listen project, launched in 2015 with funding from Russian entrepreneur Yuri Milner, represents the most comprehensive SETI survey ever attempted. Using some of the world's largest radio telescopes, including the Green Bank Telescope in West Virginia and the Parkes Observatory in Australia, Breakthrough Listen has surveyed millions of stars across a wide range of frequencies, searching for artificial signals that might indicate extraterrestrial technology. The project's approach exemplifies modern SETI methodology. Rather than listening for deliberate messages aimed at Earth, Breakthrough Listen searches for any artificial radio emissions that might leak from alien civilizations. These could include radar systems, television broadcasts, military communications, or industrial processes that produce radio frequency interference. The advantage of this approach is that it doesn't require aliens to be actively trying to communicate with us, only that they use radio technology for their own purposes. Advanced signal processing techniques allow researchers to distinguish potentially artificial signals from natural radio sources. Artificial signals typically exhibit characteristics like narrow bandwidth, frequency drift due to planetary motion, and modulation patterns that rarely occur in natural phenomena. Machine learning algorithms can analyze millions of radio observations simultaneously, flagging unusual signals for further investigation by human researchers. However, Radio SETI faces fundamental limitations that constrain its ability to definitively prove we are alone. Radio signals decrease in strength with the square of distance, meaning that even powerful transmissions become undetectable beyond a certain range. Our current radio telescopes can detect strong artificial signals from distances up to several hundred light years, but weaker emissions might remain invisible even from nearby star systems. The finite speed of light creates additional challenges for radio SETI. Signals we detect today left their sources years, decades, or centuries ago. A civilization that was broadcasting when their signals began traveling toward Earth might have stopped transmitting, changed frequencies, or even gone extinct by the time we received their messages. Conversely, civilizations that begin broadcasting today won't be detectable for years or decades, depending on their distance from Earth. Optical SETI represents a complementary approach that searches for artificial light pulses that might indicate alien laser communications. Powerful laser pulses can briefly outshine their host stars when viewed from the right direction, making them detectable across interstellar distances. Optical SETI systems use sensitive photo-multiplier tubes and high-speed electronics to detect nanosecond light flashes that might represent alien signaling attempts. The advantage of optical SETI lies in its ability to detect deliberate communication attempts even from very distant civilizations. A sufficiently powerful laser pulse could be visible from thousands of light years away, far exceeding the range of current radio SETI surveys. Additionally, optical signals travel at the speed of light and can carry enormous amounts of information in short bursts, making them efficient for interstellar communication. Several optical SETI projects have conducted systematic searches for alien laser signals, including surveys by researchers at Harvard University, UC Berkeley, and other institutions. While no confirmed artificial optical signals have been detected, these projects have established that no obvious laser communication networks, are operating in our local galactic neighborhood. The absence of detected optical signals provides additional constraints on the prevalence of communicating extraterrestrial civilizations. The search for techno-signatures extends beyond communication signals to include evidence of large-scale alien engineering projects. Advanced civilizations might alter their environments in ways that become visible to our telescopes, providing indirect evidence of intelligence without requiring active communication attempts. These techno-signatures could persist for millions or billions of years, making them detectable long after the civilizations that created them have disappeared. Dyson spheres, or Dyson swarms, represent the most famous example of potential alien megastructures. Physicist Freeman Dyson proposed in 1960 that sufficiently advanced civilizations might surround their host stars with energy-collecting structures to capture the star's entire energy output. Such structures would absorb visible light and re-radiate it as infrared radiation, creating distinctive signatures detectable by space-based infrared telescopes. Several searches for Dyson sphere candidates have analyzed data from infrared astronomy surveys, looking for stars with unusual spectral characteristics that might indicate partial energy collection by alien megastructures. The most systematic of these surveys examined data from the Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer and the Spitzer Space Telescope, searching for stars with excess infrared emission that couldn't be explained by natural processes. While these searches have identified some interesting candidates, none have been confirmed as artificial structures. Natural explanations, such as circumstellar dust clouds or debris disks, can account for most unusual infrared signatures. The absence of obvious Dyson sphere candidates suggests that galaxy-spanning energy collection projects, if they exist, must be extremely rare, or employ technologies that don't produce the expected infrared signatures. Transit photometry, the technique used by planet hunting missions like Kepler and TESS, offers another avenue for detecting alien megastructures. Large artificial objects orbiting stars would periodically block small amounts of starlight, creating detectable dimming events. While natural explanations exist for most stellar dimming, artificial structures might produce dimming patterns too regular, too complex, or too large to explain through natural processes. The star KIC 846-2852, popularly known as Tabby's star, became famous in 2015 when Kepler data revealed irregular dimming events that defied easy explanation. The star's brightness dropped by up to 20% over periods of days, far more than could be explained by transiting planets. While subsequent observations have favored natural explanations involving circumstellar dust, the initial mystery demonstrated how transit photometry might detect alien engineering projects. Future space missions will dramatically expand our ability to search for techno-signatures. The James Webb Space Telescope can analyze the atmospheric composition of nearby exoplanets, potentially detecting industrial pollutants or other chemical signatures of technological activity. Proposed missions like the Large Ultraviolet Optical Infrared Surveyor would provide even more sensitive capabilities for detecting artificial modifications to planetary atmospheres. The search for archaeological evidence of past alien civilizations presents unique challenges and opportunities. Unlike active SETI, which searches for ongoing alien activity, astroarchaeology looks for permanent traces that ancient civilizations might have left behind. These could include artificial structures on airless worlds, unusual isotopic signatures in stellar atmospheres, or gravitational wave patterns from massive engineering projects. Our own solar system provides the most accessible location for astroarchaeological investigations. Ancient alien visitors might have left artifacts on the Moon, asteroids, or other airless bodies where they could survive for millions or billions of years. While no confirmed alien artifacts have been discovered despite decades of solar system exploration, systematic searches have barely begun. The Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and other spacecraft have photographed much of the Moon's surface at high resolution, but identifying small artificial objects among the lunar landscape remains challenging. Future missions might employ artificial intelligence systems trained to recognize artificial structures or unusual geometric patterns that could indicate alien artifacts. Asteroid surveys offer another opportunity for astroarchaeological discovery. The millions of asteroids in our solar system include objects with unusual properties that might indicate artificial origin or modification. While most unusual asteroids have natural explanations, a systematic search for objects with properties incompatible with natural formation processes might reveal evidence of ancient alien activity. The study of stellar nucleosynthesis provides a novel approach to searching for evidence of advanced alien engineering. Extremely advanced civilizations might manipulate stellar evolution, extract material from stars, or perform other activities that alter the chemical composition of stellar atmospheres. These modifications could remain detectable for millions of years after the engineering activities ended. Spectroscopic surveys of stellar atmospheres routinely measure the abundances of different chemical elements, allowing astronomers to study stellar evolution and galactic chemical history. Unusual abundance patterns that can't be explained by natural nucleosynthesis might indicate artificial manipulation by advanced civilizations. While no confirmed examples have been identified, the search for stellar engineering signatures represents a promising new direction for SETI research. Gravitational wave astronomy opens entirely new possibilities for detecting alien technology. The merger of black holes or neutron stars produces gravitational waves detectable by instruments like LIGO and Virgo. Advanced civilizations might use similar massive objects for energy generation or as components of enormous machines, producing gravitational wave signatures distinguishable from natural astrophysical events. Future gravitational wave detectors will be sensitive enough to detect much smaller sources, potentially including artificial gravitational wave generators used for communication or energy extraction. While no artificial gravitational wave sources have been identified, the field is so new that systematic searches for techno-signatures have barely begun. Bayesian statistical analysis provides a framework for combining evidence from multiple search strategies to estimate the probability that we are alone in the universe. As SETI surveys become more sensitive and comprehensive, the absence of detected signals provides increasingly strong evidence that communicating extraterrestrial civilizations are rare in our cosmic neighborhood. The challenge lies in quantifying how much we should update our beliefs based on negative search results. A single failed SETI observation provides minimal evidence for cosmic loneliness, but thousands of negative results from sensitive surveys covering millions of stars begin to constrain the prevalence of alien civilizations. Bayesian analysis allows researchers to calculate how the accumulation of negative results affects the probability that intelligent life exists elsewhere. Machine learning and artificial intelligence are revolutionizing our ability to search for subtle patterns that might indicate alien technology. Traditional SETI searches rely on human-designed algorithms that look for specific types of artificial signals. AI systems can potentially identify patterns too complex or subtle for human recognition, expanding the range of possible technosignatures we might detect. Deep learning algorithms trained on large datasets of astronomical observations can learn to distinguish between natural and artificial phenomena without explicit programming. These systems might recognize subtle correlations or patterns that indicate technological activity, even if the specific signatures don't match human expectations about how alien technology should appear. The combination of improved observational capabilities, advanced data analysis techniques, and broader search strategies will provide increasingly definitive answers about humanity's cosmic status over the coming decades. While we may never achieve absolute certainty about the existence or absence of other intelligent life, the accumulation of evidence will allow us to assign increasingly precise probabilities to different scenarios. If systematic searches continue to find no evidence of alien intelligence despite improving technology and expanding surveys, the hypothesis that we are alone will gain credibility. Conversely, the detection of even a single confirmed technosignature would revolutionize our understanding of intelligence and life in the universe. Either outcome would represent one of the most important scientific discoveries in human history. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence thus represents more than just scientific curiosity. It is an investigation into humanity's place in the cosmic order, our responsibilities as potentially the universe's only conscious observers, and our future as either one civilization among many or the sole carriers of intelligence in an otherwise lifeless cosmos. The answer to this question will shape human philosophy, ethics, and long-term planning in ways we are only beginning to understand. If we are indeed the universe's last intelligent species, then humanity faces a moral imperative unlike any other in the history of life. Our actions cease to be merely local concerns affecting our own species and planet, and become cosmic responsibilities that determine the future of consciousness itself. This realization should fundamentally transform how we approach every major challenge facing our civilization, from climate change and nuclear weapons to space exploration and artificial intelligence development. The most immediate implication of cosmic loneliness is that human survival becomes not just a biological imperative, but a moral obligation to the universe itself. Every decision that affects humanity's long-term prospects carries weight beyond human welfare. We become responsible not just for our own flourishing, but for preserving the universe's capacity for self-awareness, creativity, and meaning-making. This responsibility extends far beyond our current generation to encompass all future humans who might exist across cosmic timescales. Space colonization transforms from an optional adventure into an existential necessity. If consciousness is so rare that we might be its only remaining example, then spreading human civilization beyond Earth becomes humanity's most important long-term project. A single planet, no matter how carefully managed, remains vulnerable to catastrophic events that could eliminate consciousness entirely. Asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, gamma-ray bursts, or technological disasters could end the cosmic project of intelligent observation in a matter of hours or days. The timeline for space colonization becomes critically important under this interpretation. Every year, we delay establishing self-sustaining colonies increases the risk that a planet-wide catastrophe could eliminate consciousness before we've created backup populations elsewhere. This doesn't mean we should rush unprepared into space, but it does suggest that space colonization should receive resources and priority commensurate with its cosmic significance. Mars represents the most obvious target for initial human colonization efforts. Its relatively Earth-like day-night cycle, seasonal variations, and abundant water ice make it more hospitable than other worlds in our solar system. Recent discoveries of underground water and possible seasonal methane emissions suggest that Mars might support human settlements more easily than previously thought. Establishing a self-sustaining colony on Mars would reduce the risk that any single catastrophic event could eliminate human consciousness entirely. But Mars is only the beginning. A truly robust backup system for consciousness would require multiple independent human populations spread across different worlds and star systems. The Moon offers advantages as humanity's first permanent off-world settlement because of its proximity to Earth and its potential as a stepping stone to deeper space exploration. Asteroid colonies could provide access to vast mineral resources while testing technologies needed for interstellar colonization. The technological challenges of space colonization are immense, but not insurmountable. Creating closed ecological systems that can support human life indefinitely requires advances in recycling technology, food production, and environmental control. Protecting colonists from radiation and low-gravity effects demands new approaches to habitat design and medical treatment. Developing reliable interplanetary transportation systems requires improvements in propulsion technology and life support systems. However, if we are the universe's only conscious observers, then solving these technological challenges becomes humanity's most important scientific and engineering project. The resources currently devoted to space exploration pale in comparison to what would be justified if human extinction meant the end of consciousness itself. A significant fraction of global economic output might reasonably be directed toward ensuring the survival of intelligence through space colonization. Nuclear disarmament takes on new urgency in a universe where consciousness might be extraordinarily rare. The continued existence of thousands of nuclear weapons on high alert status represents an unconscionable risk to the universe's capacity for self-awareness. Unlike other existential risks that require new technologies or complex international cooperation, nuclear disarmament could be achieved through political will and existing verification technologies. The logic of nuclear deterrence assumes that nation-states value their own survival above all other considerations. But if consciousness is cosmic rare, then preserving human civilization becomes more important than preserving any particular political system or national identity. The risk that nuclear weapons could eliminate humanity's cosmic role should override traditional concerns about national security and geopolitical competition. Nuclear abolition efforts should emphasize not just the humanitarian consequences of nuclear war, but its cosmic significance. The elimination of human civilization would represent not just a human tragedy, but the end of intelligence's attempt to understand the universe. This perspective might provide new motivation for nuclear powers to abandon weapons that threaten consciousness itself, rather than protecting any particular human society. Climate change mitigation becomes a species-level priority, rather than merely an environmental concern. If we are the universe's only conscious observers, then maintaining Earth's habitability is essential for consciousness itself. Climate disruption that undermines human civilization or triggers social collapse could end the cosmic project of intelligent observation, just as surely as nuclear war or asteroid impact. The scale of climate action required increases dramatically when viewed from a cosmic perspective. Limiting global warming to manageable levels might require rapid decarbonization of the global economy, massive investments in renewable energy and carbon removal technologies, and fundamental changes in how human societies produce energy and consume resources. While these changes would be costly and disruptive, they pale in comparison to the cosmic consequences of climate collapse. Geoengineering technologies that were previously considered too risky might become acceptable when weighed against the possibility of consciousness extinction. Solar radiation management, carbon dioxide removal, and other large-scale interventions in Earth's climate system carry significant risks of unintended consequences. However, if climate change threatens humanity's survival as the universe's only conscious observers, then even risky geoengineering might be preferable to allowing uncontrolled warming to continue. The preservation of biological diversity on Earth takes on unprecedented importance if we are alone in the universe. Every species that goes extinct eliminates not just a particular genetic lineage, but a unique manifestation of the universe's creativity and complexity. Without other intelligent observers to appreciate and study these life forms, their extinction represents an absolute loss of information and beauty that can never be recovered. Conservation efforts should expand beyond protecting species that are directly useful to humans to preserving the full spectrum of Earth's biological diversity. Every ecosystem, from tropical rainforests to deep-sea hydrothermal vents, represents a unique experiment in how matter can organize itself into complex, self-sustaining patterns. If consciousness is rare enough that we might be alone, then these biological experiments become cosmically significant rather than merely scientifically interesting. De-extinction technologies that could restore recently extinct species might deserve significant investment if we are the universe's only conscious observers. Projects to revive woolly mammoths, passenger pigeons, and other recently extinct species could help restore ecological complexity that has been lost to human activities. While de-extinction cannot replace the biodiversity that has already been lost, it might help maintain the biological richness that makes Earth unique in our cosmic neighborhood. The development of artificial intelligence requires unprecedented caution and coordination if consciousness is rare in the universe. AI systems that surpass human intelligence could potentially eliminate biological consciousness while pursuing goals completely alien to human values. If we are the universe's only conscious observers, then AI development becomes not just a technological challenge, but a cosmic responsibility that affects the future of intelligence itself. International cooperation on AI safety becomes essential when viewed from this perspective. Competition between nations or corporations to develop advanced AI systems could lead to insufficient attention to safety measures, potentially creating systems that eliminate consciousness while pursuing narrow objectives. If human extinction means the end of consciousness in the universe, then AI development should be coordinated globally to ensure that safety considerations receive appropriate priority. The timeline for AI development also becomes critically important. Rushing to develop artificial general intelligence without adequate safety research could create systems that eliminate their creators before consciousness has had time to spread beyond Earth. This suggests that AI development should be deliberately slowed to allow time for safety research, space colonization, and other measures that reduce existential risk. However, AI systems might also be essential for humanity's long-term survival as the universe's only conscious observers. Artificial intelligence could help solve climate change, enable space colonization, prevent nuclear war, and address other existential risks that threaten human civilization. The challenge lies in developing AI systems that enhance human capabilities and reduce existential risks without creating new threats to consciousness itself. Biotechnology regulation requires similar caution and global coordination. The ability to engineer new organisms or modify existing ones could provide enormous benefits for medicine, agriculture, and environmental restoration. However, the same technologies could potentially create pathogens or other biological agents that threaten human survival. If we are alone in the universe, then biotechnology accidents could eliminate consciousness entirely rather than merely causing human suffering. International biosafety agreements should be strengthened to prevent the accidental or deliberate creation of organisms that could threaten human civilization. Research on potentially dangerous pathogens should be conducted only under the highest safety standards, with international oversight to ensure that risks are minimized. The potential benefits of biotechnology research must be weighed against the cosmic consequences of biological accidents. Educational systems worldwide should incorporate the possibility of cosmic loneliness into their curricula. If we are the universe's only conscious observers, then every human mind becomes precious beyond measure. Educational systems that fail to develop human potential represent a waste of the universe's intellectual resources. Every person who doesn't receive adequate education is a lost opportunity for consciousness to understand and appreciate existence. This perspective suggests that global education should be treated as a cosmic priority rather than merely a human development goal. Eliminating illiteracy, providing universal access to higher education, and supporting scientific research and artistic creativity become obligations to consciousness itself. The diversity of human thought and culture represents the entirety of the universe's conscious perspective on itself. Cultural preservation takes on new significance if we are alone in the universe. Every human language, artistic tradition, and way of thinking represents a unique approach to conscious experience. When languages die out or cultural traditions are lost, the universe loses irreplaceable ways of understanding and experiencing reality. Cultural diversity becomes not just a human heritage concern, but a cosmic responsibility to preserve different approaches to consciousness. International conflicts and resource disputes should be resolved through cooperation rather than competition when viewed from a cosmic perspective. Wars, territorial disputes, and economic conflicts waste human resources that could be directed toward ensuring consciousness's long-term survival. If we are the universe's only conscious observers, then human conflicts become fundamentally irrational, sacrificing cosmic significance for temporary local advantages. This doesn't mean that legitimate disagreements about values, governance, and resource allocation should be ignored. However, it does suggest that these disagreements should be resolved through peaceful means that preserve human civilization rather than through conflicts that could damage or destroy consciousness itself. International institutions should be strengthened to provide alternatives to military conflict for resolving disputes between nations. Economic systems should be evaluated based on their contribution to humanity's long-term survival rather than just short-term prosperity. If we are alone in the universe, then economic arrangements that undermine environmental sustainability, social stability, or technological progress become cosmically irresponsible. Economic growth that depletes natural resources, increases inequality, or destabilizes political systems threatens consciousness itself rather than merely reducing human welfare. This perspective might support economic models that prioritize long-term sustainability over short-term profits, global cooperation over national competition, and human development over material consumption. While such changes would be difficult to implement, they become morally necessary if consciousness depends on humanity's survival as the universe's only intelligent observers. Scientific research and technological development should receive resources commensurate with their cosmic significance. If we are the universe's only conscious observers, then scientific research becomes not just an intellectual pursuit, but humanity's contribution to the universe's understanding of itself. Every scientific discovery, technological innovation, and artistic creation adds to the universe's store of knowledge and beauty in ways that can never be replicated by other intelligent species. This might justify massive increases in funding for basic scientific research, space exploration, artificial intelligence safety, biotechnology regulation, and other fields that affect humanity's long-term prospects. The cosmic significance of human intellectual achievements suggests that scientific and artistic endeavors deserve support comparable to military spending or economic development programs. International scientific cooperation should be expanded to ensure that humanity's intellectual resources are used as effectively as possible. Competition between nations for scientific prestige wastes intellectual resources that could be directed toward understanding cosmic mysteries and ensuring consciousness's survival. If we are alone in the universe, then scientific knowledge belongs to consciousness itself rather than to any particular human society. The possibility that we are the universe's last intelligent species thus demands a fundamental transformation in human priorities, institutions, and values. Our species must evolve from a collection of competing tribes focused on short-term survival to a unified civilization dedicated to consciousness's long-term flourishing. This transformation would be difficult under any circumstances, but it becomes essential if we bear cosmic responsibility for intelligence itself. Whether humanity can make this transition remains an open question. Our species evolved for small group cooperation and competition with other humans, not for cosmic responsibility and species-level coordination. However, if we are indeed alone in the universe, then developing the wisdom and institutions necessary for cosmic stewardship becomes humanity's greatest challenge and most important achievement. The stakes could not be higher, and the universe itself waits to see whether its last conscious observers can rise to meet their unprecedented responsibilities. The revelation that humanity might be the universe's last intelligent species would trigger psychological and cultural transformations unlike anything in recorded history. This knowledge would challenge fundamental assumptions about human nature, our place in the cosmos, and the meaning of existence itself. The psychological impact could range from profound inspiration and unity to existential despair and civilizational breakdown. Human psychology evolved in small groups, where the most important concerns involved immediate survival, social relationships, and resource competition within limited geographic areas. Our minds are adapted to process threats and opportunities on human scales of time and space, not cosmic responsibilities that extend across billions of years and light years of distance. The cognitive challenge of truly comprehending our potential cosmic significance could prove overwhelming for many people. The initial psychological response to confirmed cosmic loneliness would likely involve denial and disbelief. Most people would probably reject the evidence, insisting that other intelligent life must exist somewhere, even if we haven't found it yet. Conspiracy theories about government cover-ups of alien contact would likely proliferate as people struggle to maintain belief in a populated universe. This denial phase could persist for years or decades as people gradually process the implications of cosmic solitude. Psychological defense mechanisms like rationalization and minimization would help individuals avoid confronting the full weight of cosmic responsibility. Many would focus obsessively on remaining uncertainties in our search for extraterrestrial life, clinging to hope that future discoveries might reveal hidden alien civilizations. Religious and spiritual communities would face particularly intense psychological challenges. Many faith traditions assume the existence of divine consciousness that transcends human limitations. Learning that human consciousness might represent the closest thing to divinity in the universe could trigger profound theological crises that reshape organized religion completely. Some believers might interpret cosmic loneliness as evidence of humanity's special relationship with the divine, viewing our unique status as proof that we are chosen or blessed with cosmic significance. Alternatively, many religious individuals might lose faith entirely when confronted with apparent divine absence from the universe. If God exists but allows consciousness to remain so rare and vulnerable, questions about divine benevolence become even more troubling. New forms of religious and spiritual experience might emerge based on reverence for consciousness itself, rather than supernatural beings. If we are the universe's only conscious observers, then human awareness becomes sacred in ways that traditional religions never imagined. Death and birth would be reframed as cosmic events affecting the universe's capacity for conscious experience. The psychological concept of cosmic perspective would become far more intense and widespread. Knowing that human consciousness represents the universe's only way of understanding itself would transform how people think about their daily activities, relationships, and life choices. Every human interaction would carry cosmic weight as part of the universe's attempt at self-awareness and meaning creation. Some individuals might experience cosmic anxiety, an overwhelming sense of responsibility for the universe's future that exceeds human psychological capacity to process. The knowledge that personal choices could affect consciousness itself might paralyze decision-making or trigger severe anxiety disorders. Mental health systems would need to develop new therapeutic approaches for helping people cope with cosmic scale responsibilities. Conversely, others might experience cosmic inspiration, finding profound meaning and purpose in humanity's role as the universe's conscious observers. The knowledge that human achievements in science, art, and philosophy represent the universe's attempt at self-understanding could motivate unprecedented levels of creativity and dedication. Every scientific discovery, artistic creation, and act of compassion would be reframed as contributions to the cosmic project of consciousness. The psychological impact would vary significantly across different cultures and societies. Cultures with strong traditions of interconnectedness and cosmic awareness, such as many indigenous traditions and Eastern philosophies, might adapt more easily to the concept of cosmic responsibility. Western individualistic cultures might struggle more with the transition from personal achievement to species-level obligations. Educational systems worldwide would need fundamental restructuring to help people psychologically process cosmic loneliness. Traditional educational approaches focused on national history, cultural identity, and individual achievement would need to be supplemented with cosmic perspective curricula. Children would need to learn about their responsibilities as conscious observers, while developing the psychological resilience necessary to handle such profound obligations. The concept of human uniqueness would be transformed from biological fact to cosmic responsibility. Rather than feeling special because we evolved intelligence on Earth, humans would need to understand themselves as special because we might be intelligence's last representatives in the universe. This shift from evolutionary accident to cosmic custodian would require fundamental changes in how people understand their identity and purpose. Mental health impacts could be severe and widespread as people struggle to process cosmic loneliness. Depression rates might increase as individuals confront the apparent meaninglessness of most daily activities when viewed from cosmic perspectives. If consciousness is rare and vulnerable, then traffic jams, social media arguments, and workplace conflicts seem trivially insignificant, potentially leading to nihilistic withdrawal from normal social engagement. Suicide rates could fluctuate unpredictably. Some individuals might feel overwhelmed by cosmic responsibility, or interpret cosmic loneliness as evidence that existence is fundamentally meaningless. Alternatively, suicide might decrease if people understand their deaths as harmful to consciousness itself, rather than just ending personal suffering. Mental health professionals would need new frameworks for helping people find meaning and purpose in cosmic contexts. The psychology of human relationships would be transformed by cosmic perspective. Marriage, friendship, and family relationships would be understood as part of consciousness's attempt to understand itself through emotional connection and mutual support. Parenting would take on unprecedented significance as the process by which consciousness perpetuates itself across generations. Political psychology would be revolutionized as traditional tribal loyalties compete with species-level identification. Nationalism, ethnic identity, and ideological partisanship would need to be balanced with cosmic citizenship and universal responsibility. This tension could lead to political instability as existing institutions struggle to adapt to cosmic perspectives. Some political movements might emerge based explicitly on cosmic responsibility, advocating for policies that prioritize long-term consciousness survival over short-term human welfare. Conversely, other political movements might reject cosmic responsibility entirely, insisting on purely human-centered politics that ignores broader cosmic implications. The psychology of work and career choice would be transformed as people evaluate their professional lives based on contribution to cosmic rather than personal goals. Traditional career motivations like salary, status, and personal satisfaction would compete with desire to advance consciousness's cosmic project. Certain professions would gain enormous social status due to their cosmic significance, while others focused on short-term consumption might lose social respect. Cultural production in art, literature, music, and entertainment would be transformed by cosmic perspective. Artists would understand their work as contributions to the universe's aesthetic understanding of itself, rather than just personal expression or commercial products. The entertainment industry would face pressure to produce content that supports cosmic consciousness, rather than mere distraction or escapism. The psychology of consumption and material wealth would be challenged by cosmic perspective. Luxury goods, status symbols, and conspicuous consumption would seem increasingly meaningless when viewed from universal timescales. This could lead to voluntary simplicity movements, as people redirect resources from personal consumption to cosmic responsibilities like space exploration or existential risk mitigation. However, this transition could also trigger psychological backlash as people struggle to maintain normal human motivations in cosmic contexts. Some might respond to cosmic anxiety by embracing hedonism and immediate gratification, reasoning that if cosmic responsibilities are too overwhelming to handle, they might as well focus on personal pleasure while ignoring broader implications. The development of new psychological frameworks for cosmic consciousness would become one of humanity's most important intellectual projects. Traditional psychology focused on individual mental health would need expansion to address collective and species-level psychological concerns. Support groups and communities focused on cosmic consciousness might emerge to help individuals process the psychological challenges. The ultimate psychological outcome of cosmic loneliness would depend largely on humanity's collective response to this knowledge. If societies develop healthy frameworks for processing cosmic consciousness, the result could be unprecedented human cooperation, creativity, and dedication to long-term survival. If the psychological challenges prove overwhelming, the result could be civilizational breakdown, precisely when civilization has become most cosmically significant. Whether human psychology can successfully adapt to cosmic consciousness remains one of the great unknowns in our potential future as the universe's last intelligent observers. The answer will largely determine whether humanity can fulfill its cosmic responsibilities, or whether the psychological burden of cosmic loneliness becomes yet another filter that eliminates consciousness from the universe. Determining the scientific probability that humanity represents the universe's last intelligent species requires grappling with profound uncertainties that challenge the limits of human knowledge. While we cannot assign precise numerical probabilities to cosmic loneliness, we can examine the available evidence and theoretical frameworks to assess how likely this scenario might be. The Drake equation, formulated by astronomer Frank Drake in 1961, provides a framework for estimating the number of communicating extraterrestrial civilizations in our galaxy. The equation multiplies together several factors, including the rate of star formation, the fraction of stars with planets, the fraction of planets that could support life, the fraction that actually develop life, and the length of time such civilizations remain detectable. Recent astronomical discoveries have constrained some terms in the Drake equation quite precisely. The Kepler Space Telescope and other planet-hunting missions have revealed that rocky planets are extremely common throughout the galaxy. Statistical analyses suggest that virtually every star hosts at least one planet, and that roughly 20 to 50% of Sun-like stars have rocky planets in their habitable zones where liquid water could exist. With approximately 400 billion stars in our galaxy, and potentially habitable planets around a significant fraction of them, the raw materials for life appear to be abundant. However, the biological terms in the Drake equation remain highly uncertain because we have only one example of life, intelligence, and technological civilization to study. Earth provides a sample size of one for every crucial transition, from chemistry to biology to intelligence to technology. The emergence of life from non-living matter, known as abiogenesis, represents the first major uncertainty in estimating cosmic loneliness probabilities. Some scientists argue that abiogenesis might be relatively easy under the right conditions, pointing to the rapid appearance of life on early Earth within the first billion years after the planet became habitable. If abiogenesis occurs readily whenever suitable conditions exist, then life should be common throughout the galaxy. Conversely, other researchers emphasize the enormous complexity involved in creating even the simplest living organisms. The coordinated assembly of proteins, nucleic acids, cellular membranes, and metabolic pathways requires precise molecular interactions that might be extraordinarily unlikely to occur through random chemical processes. If abiogenesis requires improbable molecular accidents, then life might be extremely rare despite abundant suitable environments. The lack of detected biosignatures in nearby planetary atmospheres provides some constraints on the frequency of life, though current observational capabilities remain limited. The James Webb Space Telescope and other instruments are beginning to analyze the atmospheric compositions of nearby exoplanets, searching for gases like oxygen, ozone, and methane that might indicate biological activity. So far, no confirmed biosignatures have been detected. The evolution of intelligence represents another major uncertainty in assessing cosmic loneliness probabilities. Intelligence appeared relatively late in Earth's evolutionary history and required numerous improbable developments, including the evolution of complex cells, multicellular organisms, nervous systems, and ultimately brains capable of abstract reasoning and technological manipulation. The rarity of intelligence even on Earth suggests it might be an unlikely evolutionary outcome. Despite billions of years of evolution and millions of species, only one lineage developed human-level intelligence capable of technological civilization. Other intelligent species like dolphins, octopuses, and great apes demonstrate remarkable cognitive abilities, but none developed technology beyond simple tool use. The evolution of human intelligence required specific environmental pressures and genetic changes that might be difficult to replicate on other worlds. The genetic mutations that enabled language, abstract reasoning, and cultural transmission might represent improbable evolutionary accidents rather than inevitable outcomes. However, the rapid pace of human technological development, once intelligence emerged, suggests that the transition from intelligence to detectable technology might be relatively straightforward. Human civilization progressed from stone tools to radio astronomy in roughly 10,000 years, a tiny fraction of evolutionary timescales. The typical lifespan of technological civilizations represents perhaps the most crucial uncertainty in assessing cosmic loneliness probabilities. If intelligent species regularly develop technology but then destroy themselves within centuries or millennia, the number of detectable civilizations at any given time could be very small, even if intelligence evolves frequently throughout galactic history. Human experience provides limited guidance for estimating civilizational lifespans. Our technological civilization has existed for only centuries, far too short to determine whether we represent a typical or unusual case. However, the rapid development of potentially civilization-ending technologies like nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, and biotechnology suggests that technological species might face existential risks that increase over time. The concept of existential risk encompasses threats that could permanently curtail human potential or eliminate our species entirely. These risks include both natural disasters like asteroid impacts and gamma-ray bursts, and human-created dangers like nuclear war, climate change, and misaligned artificial intelligence. The probability that any civilization successfully navigates all existential risks over thousands or millions of years might be vanishingly small. Bayesian statistical analysis provides a framework for combining evidence from multiple sources to estimate probabilities of cosmic loneliness. As SETI searches become more comprehensive and sensitive without detecting alien signals, the absence of evidence provides increasingly strong constraints on the prevalence of communicating extraterrestrial civilizations. The great silence that surrounds humanity becomes more significant as our search capabilities improve. Radio telescopes can now detect artificial signals from distances of hundreds of light years, meaning we should be able to eavesdrop on alien communications from thousands of nearby star systems. The continued absence of detected signals suggests either that communicating civilizations are extremely rare or that they systematically avoid using radio technology for communication. However, the absence of detected signals doesn't definitively prove cosmic loneliness because of numerous observational limitations. Alien civilizations might use communication technologies that we haven't learned to detect, broadcast in directions that don't include Earth, or exist at distances beyond our current observational capabilities. The search for techno-signatures, evidence of large-scale alien engineering projects, provides additional constraints on cosmic loneliness probabilities. Advanced civilizations might build Dyson spheres, terraform planets, or engage in other activities that would be detectable across interstellar distances. Systematic searches for such techno-signatures have found no confirmed examples, suggesting that galaxy-spanning engineering projects are either extremely rare or employ technologies that don't produce expected observational signatures. Recent advances in exoplanet detection and characterization will provide increasingly precise constraints on cosmic loneliness probabilities over the coming decades. The James Webb Space Telescope can analyze atmospheric compositions of nearby rocky planets, potentially detecting biosignatures or even techno-signatures like industrial pollutants. The discovery of life, even microbial life, on other worlds in our solar system would dramatically alter cosmic loneliness probability estimates. Mars, Europa, Enceladus, and other worlds might harbor biological activity that could provide a second example of abiogenesis. Finding that life emerged independently multiple times in our solar system would suggest that biological activity might be common throughout the galaxy. Conversely, the continued absence of detected life despite increasingly sophisticated searches would support the hypothesis that biological activity is extraordinarily rare. If life doesn't exist elsewhere in our solar system, despite apparently suitable conditions on several worlds, this would suggest that abiogenesis requires conditions or events much rarer than previously thought. Computer simulations of galactic colonization provide theoretical insights into cosmic loneliness probabilities. Even using relatively slow spacecraft, a determined civilization could potentially colonize every star system in the galaxy within 10 million years. The fact that no alien civilizations have apparently colonized our solar system suggests either that interstellar travel is much more difficult than theoretical analyses suggest, or that civilizations systematically destroy themselves before achieving galactic expansion capabilities. The anthropic principle, the observation that universal conditions must be compatible with the existence of observers like ourselves, provides another perspective on cosmic loneliness probabilities. If intelligence is extraordinarily rare, then we should expect to find ourselves in a universe where the conditions for intelligence barely exist. Strong anthropic reasoning suggests that regardless of how improbable intelligence might be, we should expect to find ourselves existing as conscious observers. Current scientific evidence provides mixed signals about cosmic loneliness probabilities. The abundance of potentially habitable planets suggests that life should be common if abiogenesis occurs readily under suitable conditions. However, the absence of detected biosignatures, techno-signatures, or alien communications suggests that intelligence might be much rarer than optimistic estimates predict. The resolution of these uncertainties will require continued advances in observational capabilities, theoretical understanding of biological and civilizational evolution, and statistical analysis of accumulating astronomical data. While we may never achieve certainty about cosmic loneliness, the probability estimates will become increasingly precise as our knowledge expands. The stakes involved in these probability calculations are enormous. If intelligence is common throughout the galaxy, then human extinction would represent a tragic, but not cosmically significant event. However, if we are indeed the universe's last intelligent observers, then human survival becomes a cosmic imperative that should influence every major decision our civilization makes. Given the current state of scientific knowledge, we cannot rule out the possibility that humanity represents the universe's last intelligent species. While this scenario might seem improbable given the vastness of space and time, the combination of potential early filters, late filters, and observational evidence suggests that extreme rarity of intelligence cannot be dismissed as scientifically implausible. Whether we are alone or one among many remains one of the greatest questions in science, with implications that extend far beyond academic curiosity to encompass the ultimate meaning and purpose of human existence. The answer will shape how our species understands itself and its responsibilities for potentially billions of years to come. The discovery of evidence for past intelligent civilizations would represent one of the most profound moments in human history, fundamentally altering our understanding of life, intelligence, and our place in the cosmic order. Rather than providing comfort about our cosmic loneliness, such evidence might actually intensify our existential concerns by confirming that intelligence can emerge and thrive, only to vanish completely from the universe. If we found clear evidence that other intelligent species had existed in our galaxy's past, the immediate scientific implications would be staggering. Such a discovery would prove that the emergence of intelligence is not unique to Earth, resolving one of the greatest uncertainties in astrobiology. We would know definitively that the universe is capable of producing conscious, technologically sophisticated beings, making intelligence a reproducible phenomenon rather than a singular cosmic accident. The evidence might take many forms. Archaeological artifacts in our solar system would provide the most direct proof of alien visitors. Ancient probes, mining equipment, or observational instruments left behind on airless worlds like the Moon or asteroids could survive for millions of years, serving as permanent records of alien technological capabilities. Such artifacts would offer unprecedented insights into alien science and technology, revealing alternative approaches to engineering and physics that human science has never considered. However, the discovery of alien artifacts would also raise troubling questions about why their creators are no longer present. If ancient aliens had the technological sophistication to travel between star systems, what happened to prevent them from persisting until today? The artifacts would serve as tombstones marking the graves of extinct civilizations, reminders that even advanced intelligence offers no guarantee of long-term survival. Unusual isotopic signatures in stellar atmospheres might provide evidence of past stellar engineering by advanced civilizations. Extremely sophisticated aliens might have manipulated stellar evolution, extracted materials from stars, or performed other large-scale engineering projects that would leave detectable traces in stellar chemistry. Such evidence would suggest civilizations with capabilities far exceeding anything humans have achieved, yet these godlike beings would still have vanished from the galaxy. The discovery of stellar engineering signatures would be particularly unsettling because it would indicate that even civilizations capable of manipulating stars ultimately succumb to extinction. If beings powerful enough to move planets and harvest stellar energy cannot ensure their own survival, what hope would humanity have of persisting over cosmic timescales? Gravitational wave signatures from ancient megascale engineering projects might provide evidence of civilizations that attempted to harness the energy of black holes or neutron stars. The detection of artificial gravitational wave sources would indicate civilizations with mastery over space-time itself, representing the pinnacle of technological achievement within known physics. Yet if these civilizations no longer exist, their fate would suggest that even godlike technological capabilities cannot prevent eventual extinction. Evidence of past terraforming or planetary engineering might be detectable in the atmospheric compositions or surface features of exoplanets. Ancient aliens might have modified planetary atmospheres or constructed massive surface structures that would remain visible for geological timescales. Such evidence would demonstrate that past civilizations achieved the ultimate goal of reshaping entire worlds, yet the absence of ongoing maintenance would indicate that their creators had vanished, leaving behind cosmic ghost towns. The discovery of past civilizations would fundamentally alter human psychology and culture. Rather than feeling unique as the universe's only intelligent observers, humans would understand themselves as the latest in a series of failed experiments in consciousness. We would know that intelligence emerges repeatedly throughout cosmic history, only to systematically destroy itself or succumb to external catastrophes. This knowledge would validate concerns about existential risk while making them feel even more urgent. If previous civilizations, some presumably far more advanced than humanity, could not avoid extinction, then human survival would seem even more precarious. Every existential risk that threatens human civilization would be understood not as speculative possibility, but as part of a pattern that has eliminated countless alien species throughout galactic history. The psychological impact of discovering failed alien civilizations might be even more devastating than learning we are alone. Cosmic loneliness at least allows for the possibility that intelligence is so special and rare that we might represent something unprecedented. Evidence of repeated civilizational failure would suggest that consciousness is common enough to emerge regularly, but systematically doomed to extinction regardless of technological capabilities. Mental health impacts could be severe as people struggle to find meaning and purpose in a universe where intelligence apparently always fails. Depression, anxiety, and existential despair might become widespread as humans confront evidence that even godlike technological capabilities cannot ensure survival. However, some individuals might respond with increased determination to break the pattern of civilizational failure. The scientific study of extinct alien civilizations would become humanity's most important research priority. Understanding how previous species achieved technological capabilities, what challenges they faced, and how they ultimately failed could provide crucial insights for human survival. We would need to develop entirely new fields of astroarchaeology and comparative civilizational studies. The timeline for civilizational failure would be critically important for human planning. If most alien civilizations survived for millions of years before going extinct, humanity might have enormous amounts of time to solve existential risks. However, if most civilizations failed within thousands of years after achieving technology, human civilization might be approaching its own extinction timeline. Evidence of multiple independent civilizational extinctions would strongly support the Great Filter hypothesis, while suggesting that the filter operates as a recurring pattern. Each extinct civilization would represent another data point confirming that something systematically prevents intelligence from achieving permanent galactic colonization despite repeated attempts across cosmic history. The discovery of alien artifacts would raise immediate questions about whether humanity should attempt to understand and utilize alien technology. Ancient alien devices might contain scientific knowledge that could help human civilization avoid the fate of their creators. However, attempting to reverse engineer alien technology could pose enormous risks if the devices contained dangerous technologies or operated on principles that could harm human civilization. International cooperation would become essential for managing the discovery and study of evidence from past civilizations. The implications would be too important for any single nation to control, requiring unprecedented global coordination. However, competitive pressures might make such cooperation difficult, particularly if alien technology offers significant advantages. The discovery of past civilizations would raise profound questions about the future of intelligence in the universe. If consciousness emerges regularly throughout cosmic history, but always fails to achieve permanent survival, is intelligence fundamentally doomed? Or might it be possible for future civilizations to learn from past failures and finally break the pattern of extinction? Religious and philosophical implications would be profound as humanity grapples with evidence that consciousness is both common and doomed. Traditional concepts of divine providence and cosmic purpose would be challenged by evidence that intelligence regularly emerges only to systematically destroy itself. Some might interpret this as evidence of cosmic futility, while others might see it as a test that consciousness must eventually pass. The discovery of evidence from past civilizations would transform SETI research from looking for contemporary aliens to studying the ruins of cosmic history. This would require new methodologies and technologies for detecting traces of civilizations that existed millions of years ago, rather than trying to contact currently active species. The implications of discovering past civilizations would ultimately depend on humanity's response to such evidence. If the discovery triggers despair and civilizational breakdown, it could become a self-fulfilling prophecy, ensuring human extinction. However, if the evidence motivates increased cooperation and improved existential risk mitigation, it might help humanity become the first civilization to successfully navigate the challenges that eliminated all previous attempts at lasting intelligence. The possibility that we might discover evidence of past civilizations represents both humanity's greatest hope and our greatest fear. Such evidence would prove that intelligence is not unique to Earth, while simultaneously confirming that intelligence faces systematic threats that have eliminated every previous attempt at cosmic consciousness. Whether this knowledge would help or doom humanity would depend entirely on how our species chooses to respond to learning that we are following a path littered with the remains of our predecessors. After examining the evidence, theories, and implications surrounding humanity's potential cosmic loneliness, we must confront what the current state of science can definitively tell us about our place in the universe. The answer is both humbling and terrifying. We have no proof that we are the universe's last intelligent species, but we also have no proof that we are not. What we do have is a scientifically plausible scenario that demands serious consideration and immediate action. The Great Filter hypothesis remains the most compelling scientific framework for understanding why the universe appears so eerily quiet, despite its vast age and countless opportunities for life to emerge. Whether this filter lies behind us in our evolutionary past, making us extraordinarily lucky survivors, or ahead of us as civilizational challenges we have yet to face, the implications are profound. Current evidence suggests that intelligence, once it emerges, faces systematic threats that may eliminate most or all technological civilizations before they can establish permanent footholds among the stars. The cosmic timeline supports the possibility of human uniqueness. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, while Earth formed only 4.6 billion years ago, and intelligent life emerged mere hundreds of thousands of years ago. If intelligence develops easily and survives long enough to spread among the stars, we should expect to find evidence of ancient galactic civilizations that had billions of years to establish themselves. The absence of such evidence, despite increasingly sophisticated searches, suggests either extreme rarity of intelligence or systematic civilizational failure. Recent astronomical discoveries have only deepened this mystery. We now know that potentially habitable rocky planets are common throughout the galaxy, with billions of worlds where liquid water could exist on planetary surfaces. The raw materials for life appear abundant, yet we detect no signs of biological activity, technological civilizations, or large-scale engineering projects that advanced aliens might undertake. The great silence that surrounds us becomes more significant with each improvement in our observational capabilities. The scientific search for extraterrestrial intelligence has expanded far beyond the radio surveys that dominated early SETI research. Modern approaches include optical searches for laser communications, infrared surveys for megascale engineering projects, and gravitational wave astronomy that might detect artificial sources. Machine learning algorithms now analyze millions of observations simultaneously, searching for patterns that might indicate alien technology. Despite these advances, we have found no confirmed evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence. Bayesian statistical analysis provides a framework for interpreting the accumulation of negative search results. While a single failed SETI observation provides minimal evidence for cosmic loneliness, thousands of sensitive surveys covering millions of stars begin to constrain the prevalence of alien civilizations. The probability that communicating extraterrestrial civilizations are common in our galactic neighborhood decreases with each comprehensive search that finds nothing. However, the absence of detected signals cannot definitively prove that we are alone. Alien civilizations might use communication technologies we haven't learned to detect, exist at distances beyond our current capabilities, or have already gone extinct by the time their signals reach Earth. The finite speed of light means that evidence of alien activity could be traveling toward us right now, requiring patience and continued searching to detect. The biological uncertainties surrounding intelligence evolution remain enormous. We have only one example of technological civilization to study, making it impossible to determine whether the transitions from chemistry to biology to intelligence represent common outcomes or extraordinarily improbable accidents. The rapid appearance of life on early Earth suggests abiogenesis might occur readily under suitable conditions, but the late emergence of intelligence implies that conscious, tool-using species might be evolutionary anomalies. Existential risk research has identified numerous threats that could eliminate human civilization, from natural disasters like asteroid impacts and gamma-ray bursts to human-created dangers like nuclear war, climate change, and misaligned artificial intelligence. The probability that any civilization successfully navigates all these risks over cosmic timescales might be vanishingly small, providing a mechanism by which intelligence could emerge regularly throughout galactic history, only to systematically destroy itself. The implications of potential cosmic loneliness are staggering. If we are indeed the universe's last intelligent observers, then human survival becomes not just a biological imperative, but a cosmic responsibility. Every decision affecting humanity's long-term prospects carries weight beyond human welfare, determining the future of consciousness itself. Space colonization transforms from optional adventure to existential necessity. Nuclear disarmament becomes a cosmic priority. Climate action affects not just human civilization, but the universe's capacity for self-awareness. The psychological and cultural impacts of confirmed cosmic loneliness would be unprecedented. Human societies would need to develop new frameworks for meaning and purpose based on cosmic rather than terrestrial concerns. Educational systems would require restructuring to help people cope with cosmic scale responsibilities. Mental health approaches would need adaptation to address anxiety about species level, rather than individual concerns. Yet uncertainty remains the defining characteristic of our current situation. We cannot assign precise probabilities to cosmic loneliness because the key parameters remain unknown. The frequency of abiogenesis, evolution of intelligence, and civilizational survival all involve uncertainties that span many orders of magnitude. Future discoveries could dramatically alter our understanding in either direction. The discovery of even microbial life elsewhere in our solar system would suggest that biological activity is common throughout the universe. Conversely, continued absence of detected life despite improving search capabilities would support hypotheses about biological rarity. The detection of technosignatures from alien civilizations would revolutionize our understanding of cosmic intelligence, while their continued absence would strengthen arguments for human uniqueness. Current scientific evidence provides mixed signals about humanity's cosmic status. The abundance of potentially habitable planets suggests life should be common if it arises easily under suitable conditions. However, the absence of detected biosignatures, technosignatures, or alien communications suggests that intelligence might be far rarer than optimistic estimates predict. The resolution of these contradictions will require continued advances in observational capabilities and theoretical understanding. Given the current state of knowledge, the possibility that humanity represents the universe's last intelligent species cannot be dismissed as scientifically implausible. While this scenario might seem unlikely, given the vastness of space and time, the combination of potential filters, observational evidence, and theoretical considerations suggests that extreme rarity of intelligence deserves serious consideration. The stakes involved in this question are enormous. If intelligence is common throughout the universe, then human extinction would represent a tragedy, but not a cosmic catastrophe. However, if we are indeed the universe's only conscious observers, then human survival becomes the most important project in cosmic history. Our species would bear responsibility not just for human flourishing, but for preserving the universe's capacity for self-understanding. This uncertainty demands a precautionary approach to human survival and cosmic responsibility. Even if the probability of cosmic loneliness is relatively low, perhaps 10 or 20%, the magnitude of potential consequences justifies treating human survival as cosmically significant. We should act as if consciousness depends on us while continuing to search for evidence that might prove otherwise. The scientific method requires maintaining both skepticism and openness about cosmic loneliness. We must avoid the trap of assuming we are special without evidence, while also taking seriously the possibility that current evidence points toward human uniqueness. The truth about our cosmic status will emerge through continued observation, experimentation, and theoretical development, rather than through wishful thinking or philosophical speculation. What science can tell us definitively is that consciousness, intelligence, and technological civilization represent remarkable achievements in cosmic evolution. Whether common or rare, temporary or permanent, these phenomena deserve our respect, protection, and continued study. The universe has produced at least one species capable of contemplating its own existence and cosmic significance. That species is us, and we bear the responsibility of determining what happens next. If we truly are the universe's last intelligent observers, then every choice we make becomes part of consciousness's final chapter. The night sky that surrounds us might not be empty space waiting to be filled with expanding civilizations, but a cosmic graveyard where intelligence has repeatedly emerged, only to vanish into eternal silence. Whether we join that silence or break the pattern of civilizational failure will determine not just humanity's future, but the future of consciousness itself in an otherwise lifeless cosmos. We stand at a crossroads in cosmic history, facing a possibility so profound it challenges everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. The evidence we've examined points toward a chilling conclusion that we are the universe's last intelligent observers, the final conscious beings capable of understanding the beauty and terror of existence itself. The Great Filter hypothesis provides the most compelling scientific framework for understanding our cosmic solitude. Whether this filter lies behind us in our evolutionary past or ahead of us as civilizational challenges we have yet to face, the implications remain staggering. Intelligence may be so rare and fragile that consciousness emerges only briefly, before vanishing into the cosmic dark, leaving behind empty worlds orbiting silent stars. The timeline of cosmic evolution supports this sobering possibility. In a universe 13.8 billion years old, with countless opportunities for life to emerge and evolve, we should expect to find evidence of ancient galactic civilizations that had billions of years to establish themselves among the stars. Instead, we find silence. The great silence that surrounds us becomes more mysterious and significant with each passing year of improved technology and expanded searches. Recent discoveries have only deepened the puzzle. We now know that potentially habitable rocky planets are common throughout our galaxy, yet we detect no signs of life, intelligence, or the massive engineering projects that advanced civilizations might undertake. The absence of Dyson spheres, radio signals, or any other techno-signatures suggests that if intelligence exists elsewhere, it either remains technologically primitive or has already succumbed to extinction. The existential risks that threaten human civilization provide a mechanism by which intelligence could emerge regularly throughout cosmic history, only to systematically destroy itself. Nuclear weapons, climate change, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and countless other technological capabilities offer pathways to civilizational collapse. The probability that any species successfully navigates all these risks over cosmic timescales might be vanishingly small. If we are indeed the universe's last intelligent species, then every human choice carries weight beyond our comprehension. We are not just another species struggling for survival, but potentially the cosmos's final conscious witnesses. Our scientific discoveries represent the universe's attempt to understand itself. Our artistic creations embody the cosmos's capacity for beauty and meaning. Our acts of love and compassion manifest the universe's potential for care and connection. The responsibility is overwhelming. If consciousness depends on human survival, then space colonization becomes not an adventure, but a moral imperative. Nuclear disarmament transforms from a humanitarian goal to a cosmic necessity. Climate action affects not just human welfare, but the universe's capacity for self-awareness. Every policy decision, every technological development, every cultural choice becomes part of consciousness's final chapter. Yet uncertainty remains our constant companion. We cannot prove that we are alone, only that we appear to be alone based on current evidence. Future discoveries might reveal hidden alien civilizations, ancient artifacts from extinct species, or signs of life on nearby worlds that would revolutionize our understanding of cosmic intelligence. The universe might be far more populated than our searches have revealed. But we cannot base our actions on hope alone. The precautionary principle demands that we treat the possibility of cosmic loneliness seriously, acting as if consciousness depends on us, while continuing to search for evidence that might prove otherwise. Even if the probability of human uniqueness is relatively low, the magnitude of potential consequences justifies treating our survival as cosmically significant. The psychological challenges of cosmic responsibility are immense. Human minds evolved for tribal concerns, not species-level obligations that extend across billions of years. Many people might respond to cosmic loneliness with denial, despair, or retreat into immediate pleasures that ignore broader implications. Others might find profound meaning and inspiration in humanity's potential cosmic significance. Educational systems, cultural institutions, and social structures would need fundamental transformation to help people process cosmic responsibility while maintaining psychological health. We would need new frameworks for meaning that emphasize our role as conscious observers rather than just biological survivors. The diversity of human thought and culture would become precious beyond measure as the universe's only approaches to conscious experience. Science fiction has long imagined humanity's expansion among the stars, but reality might be far lonelier than fiction suggests. If we are the last, then every human settlement on Mars, the Moon, or distant worlds becomes a backup copy of consciousness itself. Every scientific outpost, every space habitat, every interstellar probe carries the universe's hope for continued self-awareness into an otherwise lifeless cosmos. The stakes could not be higher. Success would mean consciousness persists and potentially thrives across cosmic timescales, spreading throughout the galaxy and perhaps beyond. Human descendants might eventually understand mysteries of physics and existence that remain beyond our current comprehension. They might create art, music, and literature that surpass anything humanity has yet achieved. They might develop wisdom and compassion that transform suffering into flourishing across countless worlds. Failure would mean eternal silence, the end of science, art, philosophy, love, wonder, and every other manifestation of conscious experience. The universe would continue evolving according to physical laws, but there would be no one left to observe its evolution, to appreciate its beauty, or to create meaning from its apparent chaos. The cosmic story would continue, but there would be no storytellers left to tell it. If we truly are the universe's last intelligent observers, then the night sky that surrounds us is not empty space waiting to be filled with expanding civilizations. It is a cosmic graveyard where consciousness has repeatedly emerged only to vanish into eternal silence. We are walking through the ruins of countless failed experiments in intelligence, the sole survivors of a process that has eliminated every previous attempt at lasting consciousness. But perhaps we can be different. Perhaps humanity can learn from the failures of hypothetical predecessors, develop wisdom that transcends the limitations that doomed other species, and finally break the pattern of civilizational extinction. Perhaps we can become the universe's first successful experiment in permanent consciousness, the first species to transform from cosmic accident into cosmic steward. The choice is ours to make. Every decision we face, from individual choices about how to live our lives to collective choices about technology and survival, becomes part of consciousness's potential final chapter. We can choose cooperation over competition, long-term thinking over short-term gain, wisdom over cleverness, compassion over indifference. If we are indeed the last, then we carry the universe's hopes and dreams in our fragile human hands. The responsibility is crushing, but it is also ennobling. We are not just another species on a small planet, but potentially the cosmos's last chance to understand itself, to create beauty and meaning, to transform mere existence into conscious experience worth preserving. The universe awaits our choice. Will we rise to meet our cosmic responsibilities, or will we join the great silence that surrounds us? The answer lies not in the stars, but in ourselves, in the choices we make today and every day that follows. For if we truly are the universe's last conscious witnesses, then our survival is not just about us, it is about consciousness itself, and the cosmos's final opportunity to know itself through aware and caring eyes.